The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, live now.
That's a problem. That's a long intro. That means we're going to have to worry about.
You're listening to Trash Talking Radio, or else.
This is Ole Anderson. I've been talking to a guy named Trash. What kind of a name is that? Well, I'll tell you what. Listen to this Trash Talking Radio.
They're talking about it gets so hot, the telephone lines now. Telephone man climbing the line now, trying to put back together because it's so hot. Because the people know they're talking to the real deal, the real man, the man of the hour. They're talking to the fabulous blonde. Been around the world more times than Carter's got peanuts. I've been in countries that don't even have names. I've been places that's not even on the map, where we sold out because everywhere I went, everybody wanted to see, everybody wanted to feel, everybody wanted to touch. They just wanted to get a little look at the real man. Ken Tim's the fabulous blonde.
Okay, well, this didn't work out as planned, but it does what it does.
And see, you said that you were going to be ready, and you messed it up again.
Well, the thing I didn't see, I didn't pay attention to, was I played this off of Facebook, and I do things that only I would understand.
Exactly.
That's right, yeah. Now, I guess I need to look and make sure that all the streams are working as they're supposed to be. Hey, there we are. There's where we're supposed to be. See, I'm wearing my nice little bathing outfit. It makes me look skinny.
It makes you look something.
So, I surprised you with that. Let's see here. Yes, there it is. All right, we're there on the Facebook. Let's check our Twitter. Let's see if Twitter is there. It is. It is there. And let's pin that to the top where it belongs. And then we'll go to Twitch. It is at Twitch. Awesome. And then we look at our friends at Facebook or YouTube, who will probably have a conniption over the fact that I used
just tell them it was our anniversary show. We're using the original one.
Yeah, that means they're going to take all my royalties and give it to Van Halen. Well, the thing is, with that, it actually makes sense, because if you're looking at it from the standpoint that for the 12 years that I was in wrestling, that was my theme song.
Yes.
So, we're celebrating the, what year?
17th
year. And of the 17 years, I would say that we used that theme for 16 of them. So I only went to my own original music this last year. So I had to do what I had to do. And for those of you that didn't know, that was my theme song that I would come out to on every wrestling event that
it's hard to believe, 17 years.
A long 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think about, where I started and where I got to and where I am today, and I can't figure out how I got there. Hey, Mitch, what are you doing, man? Hey.
Hi, Mitch.
Hey, are my websites up yet? Because when I looked the last couple times, they haven't been. And I will send you money. I just would like to have them back again. I'd like my Uncle Sam band and my Trash Talking Radio, if possible. But this is the 17th anniversary of the show. It's been around for a long time. We have a teenager on our hands. That's what it is. A 17-year-old is a teenager.
Well, you've had a 17-year-old.
Yeah, a long ride there. So it's really kind of funny when I think about it, how far this show has come from being just a boring wrestling show to an exciting wrestling show to whatever we are now.
And the memories that we've made, I mean...
Oh, man. Yeah, how about what do you got? What are you thinking of memories? Let's talk about memories.
Well, let's see.
I should have put a clip together of different things that we had, that we've done.
Well, any of the road trips and wrestling conventions that we've done. I remember when I got started the first time, you had to go to New York for your day job, and Rebel was here.
Not New York.
New England.
New England.
New England, I'm sorry.
New England. A little bit different New York.
And all I was doing was running the equipment, not knowing how to do it.
And who would have thought that he would have ended up killing his wife and himself so many years later?
I know.
To think he... I just don't know what to think about that. Rebel was I wasn't going to really talk about him, but since you brought him up, you know, he was always good to me. I mean, I realized that he killed his wife and he killed himself, and that is really hard for me to fathom.
Yes.
And I really can't even... it saddens me to no end that he did that. And there's nothing we can do about that, but he, I just can't. I don't even.
It's still hard to believe.
Words are not able to. I'm unable to come up with reasons and words and things and all that when it comes to that whole situation. And I just wish that things were different and he hadn't done that. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. He did what he did, and but he was actually. I remember when I had him on for the first time, he was like, I was so excited because he was a name. He was a bigger name than anything that I'd had prior to that, because I had had these little guys, and he actually made it he kind of like made me angry about asking him on the show. Okay. Because he gave me, like, he didn't really want to do it. And I said, that's okay, I don't have to have you on, it's no big deal. And then he came back and he, you know. But that leads me to another guy who did that to me. Do you remember? I think it was in Quakertown, Pennsylvania, or somewhere around there. There was a wrestling show, and this is before I was really in the business. And I had seen a show the night before, and it was, what was it? It was Jasmine Sinclair's thing, 3PW.
3PW, okay.
And I saw I thought it was a pretty good show. And I talked to Jasmine, and you know, she had been on the show a couple times, and Blue Meanie was there and all that. And then the next day, there was another show in Quakertown, and we went to that. And there was this guy out in the parking lot, and he was whining and complaining about Jasmine wouldn't put him on the show and wouldn't use him. And I looked at the guy, and I thought he kind of looks familiar, but I you know, he was in the street clothes, and I couldn't figure out who he was. And as he whined and complained, I said, "Who are you?" And it turned out to be Balls Mahoney, and he was very unhappy. And he said, "I'm Balls freaking Mahoney. That's who I am. If you don't know who I am, just get out of here." And I said, wait, I'm sorry. I didn't recognize you with your street clothes. He just went on and on about, you got to get out of here. I'm going to kick you in the balls. And I said, I apologized to him and everything. And he said, I'm going to give you a count to 10. And he said, 10, 9. I said, look, I'm sorry. I didn't recognize you in your street clothes. 8, 7, 6. Come on, man. I'm sorry. Just let it go. And then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And he kicked me. Fortunately, he missed. He hit my inner leg, which is where I hoped he was aiming. And
now he's gone, too.
Yeah, but the weird part is that, you know, time goes by and people forget about things, and a year. Well, it wasn't. It probably was a. It's probably a year later because we made fun of him for the whole freaking year for that story because I had him on the show, and he didn't. And we were trying to like figure out how we were going to do it. Are we gonna like let him know that I was that person, or are we going to not let him know that I was that person at the end of the interview? I was going to interview him legit and say, "Oh, by the way, do you remember?" But we didn't do that. We kept him going and let it go because I didn't think it was really. At the end of the day, he liked being on the show, and that's really the important thing.
Right.
So I let that go, and then we saw him at the Bruno Sammartino. Was it? Yeah. Was it the Bruno Sammartino thing? Yeah, I think it was.
I think so, yeah.
We saw him there, and I was avoiding him like the plague because I knew there was trouble going to be happening then because now I'm seeing him face to face. And when we went up to him, he said, or when he went up to us, he came up to me, and he said, "How you doing, bud?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm doing good. How you doing?" And he talked to me like he was my best friend, and you know, I introduced myself as Mike Trash, and he didn't remember that. He remembered it like he did. I didn't. We never brought it up. He just remembered that we were the best of friends that night. And I'm like, cool, I'll take that because it's a lot easier to deal with than having a big guy like him be upset at you and totally out of control. And he became a really good friend and a great guest on the show. And I really liked having him on the show.
Well, see, you must have this thing where you like piss people off at first,
yeah,
and then they forget about it, and then they agree
some of them do.
I mean, look at Steve Carino.
Well,
he wouldn't do the show either.
That was the next one I'm going to talk about. Is that same night, the night that I got assaulted by the balls? I want to go to that. I'm going to go to that next. Was that it was anyway? But with the balls thing, he even called us from a movie set that he was on.
Yes, I remember
and,
that.
He talked to us between takes and stuff, and I think it was Rollerball for some reason because it was a Paul Heyman movie, and I think he was in that Paul Heyman movie.
Yeah, I mean we've had some good times. I mean, some memorable trips and.
Yeah, I think for sure that was a highlight of things that happened because of the show, and then. You were talking about Carino. Carino was like, one of my co-hosts was J.R. Manitoba.
Yes.
Who was Carino's manager in, what was that? It was Quarryville was where they taped all their stuff, and I can't remember the name of it, but I asked him to come on the show, and he said, "Well, do you still have J.R. Manitoba?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, I'm not coming on the show then." I said, "Okay." He said, "You get rid of J.R. Manitoba and I'll come on the show." And I said, "Steve, I can't do that." He said, "Why not?" I said, "Because J.R. is a member of my cast, a member of my show, and I can't fire someone because you want me to fire someone. I mean, I appreciate you because, you know, you're a great wrestler and I admire everything you've done. But I have some integrity." So that night, I met him for the first time one-on-one. I had seen him at shows before, but I never introduced myself. But I met him that night, and I went up to him and introduced myself, and I said, "Steve Carino, how you doing? I'm Mike Trash." He said, "Okay, I'll do it." I said, "What?" He said, "I'll do your show." I said,
"Okay."
"I still have J.R. Manitoba." He said, I'll do your show." I said, "Okay." And I was responsible for putting him and J.R. Manitoba back together.
Cool.
And I have another one later on that I was responsible for putting back together. So it was really cool that we had that section of things and happen. That who would have known that I would have been responsible for that? I was very happy about that, and I was very excited about that. And you know, as you do these things, you never know what kind of impact you're going to have on people, and sometimes you have an impact on people's lives, sometimes you don't. And I mean, not that I'm not saying that I'm this guy that did a lot of things for this business, because I really probably couldn't even begin to say that I did a lot for this business, but I got JR Manitoba back together with Steve.
See?
And that's not the only thing. So that's one couple that I got together. Name another one. There's 3 of them that I can name.
Okay, well, there is... I don't know who else there is.
Woo! Boogeyman feels good.
Jimmy Valiant.
So Jimmy Valiant hadn't talked to Johnny Valiant in
years.
20 years, probably. And I had Johnny Valiant on the show, and Johnny Valiant was a great guest. We had a lot of good times with him. He was on the show a bunch of times, and he was really, really good guest. He told stories. It was really nice. And I thought, well, I can have Johnny. What are the chances I can get Jimmy? That would be cool, wouldn't it? So we had Jimmy on the show, and I thought, wow, that's really cool. But then I found out that Jimmy and Johnny don't get along. And I thought, well, that's really odd. And I talked to him, and I said, I just kind of talked to him. And then, next thing we know, Jimmy and Johnny have a reunion. And I thought, well, that's really cool, because, who could say they did that? But then, okay, we're talking about Jimmy and Johnny. What about Jerry? I got them back together. I got the big 3 back together. I was happy about that. There's one more out there. One that you're very sure that you know that. I'm very sure that you know this one.
Oh, you're asking me to think back 17 years.
Oh, I think we're on TV by demand tonight. What do
We
you think?
are.
How do you like that? Hey, that's very cool. I didn't even pick that up until you showed me that. All right, here's the other one. There's one other one. And you're very, 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 you know these people very well.
Oh, okay. Like I said, you're making me think 17 years.
I know.
That's a lot.
I know, but I've put them back together in the past 10. And they weren't even on speaking terms.
Oh.
They were at the beginning when we met them. In fact, we met them. I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
We met them at Johnny Valiant's stand-up comedy routine.
Okay, that doesn't help.
It will if I tell you a little bit more.
Okay.
He was wearing a bright purple outfit. And the other he was wearing his signature hair up and short on the sides.
Okay, that still doesn't help.
And they both have a ministry together now. Do you remember Bobby Rydell
Yes.
and Johnny Ova weren't talking?
Yes, that's right.
And I brought those two together.
That's right.
I am the maker of friends.
Oh, that's right. Like I said, you asked me to think back 17 years. That's a lot of information to process.
You know, I'm thinking this off the top of my head because my notes don't reflect this. If I looked at my notes, Balls was not on there, Johnny was not on there, and Steve Carino were not on there. So I'm doing this off the fly.
Uh-huh.
But as you started talking about things, I remembered these other things, and like I said, I brought these people back together.
Yes. Now that you said that, definitely. See, when you said bright purple, my mind, for some strange
Don't you remember,
reason, went to Prince.
Okay, let's talk about this. We went to the show. First off, back it up a little bit. I said to Johnny, I will come to a show if he has lunch with me, and I
Right.
would pay.
Right.
Of which he did. He had lunch with me, and I loved it because I got to sit. When I was a kid, I hated the Valiant Brothers. They were just such good heels. As I got older, Jimmy Valiant became a face, and I loved Jimmy Valiant then. Mm-hmm. I had a chance to have lunch with someone who I really hated as a kid and really loved as an adult. And so I thought that was really cool. And then we, like I said, we had this thing with, hey, Danny May!
Hey, Danny May!
Hey, Danny May! Anyway, so we had this thing where with Johnny, after we had lunch, we went to the comedy club he was at, and it was really small. I guess in New York things are small because of the amount of space that they have. And this guy comes in with this bright purple jacket on, and I thought to myself, who is he? Who could he be? And I saw this skinny guy with him, and I thought, who is he? Who do they think they are? They think they're special? And little did I know who they were, because I didn't find out till later that it was Bobby Rydell and it was Johnny Ova. Mm-hmm. So we became good friends, and I ended up going to his federation, which was PWR. It was just starting up.
Yes.
And we were going to PWR once a month. It was the longest drive. It didn't seem like a long drive compared to some of the ones we did, but it was one of the longest drives.
The first time was very long, and then after we got used to it, then it was like, you know, once we got used to that long drive and we found a shortcut.
She's saying I have nicer boobs than her. You want to see my bathing outfit? I'll let you see it. I'll see it.
Oh, jeez.
All right, here it goes. There's my... Wait a minute. There we go. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, brother.
And actually, if I can do this without strangling myself...
No, you'll strangle yourself. Come over this way a little bit. There you go. You're good.
I got a dog that's... Wait a minute. Hold on, I'm going to strangle myself.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, now that I got my wires crossed. All right.
That's what you get for standing up.
Yeah.
Hi, puppy.
Now let's see, how can I make this work again? Okay. So now...
Yeah, once we figured out the shortcuts.
Jordan, can I call in? Sure. If you want to call in, you can call in. All right. Where was I?
PWR.
PWR, yeah. So we go there once a week, or once a month. It was 6 hours drive one way in the middle of the night. On the way home, we drove in our sleep, basically.
Yes.
And and that promotion started falling apart. So Johnny and Bobby and the other person was...
Luscious Joe.
No, that was in charge was...
Blast.
So those three eventually split up and got angry at each other and wouldn't talk to each other. So I was able to bring two of those guys back together again. So I was happy about that. And...
yeah, because the first PWR show that we went to had Shawn Michaels on it.
Yes. Okay, that's one of your favorite things.
Yes.
When you walked up to him with your...
I had my shirt on, my HBK shirt.
And you were proud, and you were blasting in front of him saying, look, I got my Shawn Michaels shirt on. And he said it was a pirate shirt. Outlaw shirt. Which meant he didn't get paid for it.
And I didn't know what it meant. And so I kind of drifted back off into my corner till you walk up to him, and I'm like, oh no.
Hey, that was the only time I met him too. And that was a good show because it had all the big names on it. It had, Greg Valentine,
yes.
and it had... Kane was there?
He was supposed to be, and I think
he was there, but we didn't
He came in at the
meet
very
him.
end.
Yeah. Oh, I think our phone's ringing.
That's a neat sound.
Now I got to figure out how to answer it. Trash Talking Radio. Oh, wait a minute. I got to.
What is going on? None other than Jordan Garber calling in all the way from Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Hold on here a sec. Gotta figure out how I got this set up because I didn't hear the phone on my board. Hold on. It should have spoke. You should have spoke. Now, let me try this one. Okay. Let's see.
Actually, no.
There it is.
Is it? Wait a minute.
I thought so.
Speak again.
All right, you guys can hear me okay?
Shoot. All right, let me go to Plan B. Hold on a sec. Plan B. I don't see why it's not working unless I unplugged it by accident. Let me see if I unplugged it. I haven't had... The phone actually wasn't working before today, so I actually realized that I wasn't getting calls because it wasn't working. Now let me turn this on, which is number 3. I think 3. Is it 3 or 4? It's 4. Okay. Try now.
All right, can you guys hear me?
I can.
There we go.
Who are we speaking with?
Right on. Well, you guys are speaking with Jordan Garber, professional wrestling journalist out of Winnipeg, Manitoba, and I actually have a very, very good Mike Strash story. If you guys want me to,
Really?
Mike, I'm sure you'll remember it.
Okay,
Very much
let's hear it.
In my first year of professional wrestling in the year 2008, I used to do email interviews with the likes of many wrestlers across the world.
Okay.
Now, when I interviewed Mike Trash and I got him on, that was my first official year in the business in 2008.
I remember you.
You do remember me.
I think I do.
So now here we are, 12 years later, on the same show.
Wow.
Well, that's awesome. I really remember you because you were really young, and you would talk to. Yeah, I remember that you talked to other people, and I didn't know your real name back then because you went by a different name, didn't you?
I believe I would Tony the Lion. That was my old name in 2008. So
Okay.
I guess that's how I did the interviews then, and then I just switched to my shoot name.
That's very cool. That's nice. I'm glad you're still around.
Absolutely, get to referee and live the dream. So I just wanted to call in and share that awesome story with your wonderful, wonderful audience, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe.
Well, thank you for calling in on the anniversary show of our, how many years? 17 years. 17 years. And they said it would never last. They
Right
said,
on, guys. You guys take it easy. Have a good night.
thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Now,
Cool.
why didn't my phone do what it's supposed to do? That's what I
Mitch
want to know.
says he's coming through the feed.
He is now, yeah, because I just
okay.
mic'd him.
Okay.
But I need to understand why it didn't work the right way, which would have been really cool if it worked the right way. Oh, that's
Yeah, because when
this was the one.
when we were talking about the Shawn Michaels, whenever you went up to him and then you pulled me in, and it's like, yeah, we kind of already met. Yeah, okay.
And then he said the outlaw again.
Yeah, I
Oh,
got
I
my
betcha.
picture taken with him, which I love that picture. And then it was,
That's on your wall too.
yes, it is.
Now I'm curious if it would work now. Let me. Yep. You know what I did was I plugged in the microphone and the audio input in the same jack, and only one of them would work in that. So now next time they call, it'll be clearer. So basically, his story is he was 15 or 16 when he contacted me via email or AOL. I think it was AOL. He says email, but I think it was AOL. It might have been. Anyway, he was interviewing me on this, and I said, okay, I'll talk to anybody. I mean, what the heck? But it was a really good interview because he was after some really big names, and he got them. And
Nice.
really good kid. Well, I guess he's not a kid anymore, but he was like Nigel. Nigel was
Yes.
trying to do the same thing, and actually they corresponded back and forth, and I think. But anyway, I now know his real name, so now if there's any lawsuits, I know who to go after. But he said some pretty nice things about me. Anyway, so Bobby Rydell, I fixed
Yeah.
that relationship. Thank you very much. I'm the fixer of relationships.
Oh, jeez.
Well, you and Shannon.
Yes, yes.
Okay? Fixer of relationships.
Yes, that is
I just
true.
can't fix my own. I could fix them, but I can't fix my own. So,
Well, there are some that you can't fix, but it is what it is.
but yeah, it's kind of funny. All right, okay, so was there anybody that I was starting to talk? Oh, I did the Carino one,
Yes.
and we had him on the show. And he was awesome, and he
Yep.
did a lot of really good interviews. In fact, a lot of the times we didn't even talk wrestling with him. We
That's
talked.
true.
We talked other things because, I kind of like to talk to guys about things they are not necessarily in, because they get to be interviewed about the same stuff over and over again, and I don't like to interview like everybody else. Now,
Okay.
I want to also talk about the ones that I never thought I'd get to talk about. Do you remember Dusty Rhodes?
Yes.
I was so nervous on Dusty Rhodes
You.
because he was my hero. And I'm glad we got him the one. I wish we would have got him more than once, but we got him the one time. And he was a great interview. For that short period of time, we went over a lot of stuff. and he was awesome. I was so scared. I was so new to the business that he was like the god. He was like another huge name that I did get eventually, but we didn't talk about yet. But to me, he was even bigger than that because I idolized him as a kid, and and I had him on the show, and I said, I saw you at the Ring of Honor show, but I was too scared to come up and talk to you. And he said, oh, you shouldn't have been too scared to talk to me, brother. Oh, he didn't say brother, I guess. But he was fun, and I loved talking to him. But, yeah, Peacemaker Mike, that's correct.
Yeah, because I remember when we started out.
Make it Dr. Mike. Well, there's Dr. Ruth, who's the sex therapist.
And Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil, and there's Dr. Mike.
And Dr. Ken, and Dr. Now, and yeah, okay. But, I remember.
They're all different doctors, you realize. One's a fat doctor, one's a doctor that likes to be helping fat people. I know.
But I can remember that, I'd have your phone, and I'd go to another room, get the caller on the phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's when we did all interviews.
Oh, yeah.
That was exhausting, though, because if you have people that have ego problems, don't show, bad interviews, how about the worst interview I ever had? Who should have been the best?
Oh, my. And I know you've told me that before.
We had him on twice. The first time I had a horrible interview. The second time I had the greatest interview ever.
Bobby Heenan.
No,
Harley Race.
Harley Race.
I knew it was one of the two.
It was the worst interview ever. And then I thought, okay, I want to take another try at this because everybody that had interviews with him had the same interview I did. It was horrible. But then I decided I was going to do it right this time. So I planned it out, and the next interview I had with him was awesome.
Yep.
I picked his brain instead of saying, what was it like being in Japan? Oh, it was good. That's not an answer. That's a horrible answer. But I did it better next time because I made sure I hit key facts that he could talk about and made him agree or disagree with some of the facts. And I turned that interview into the best interview that he's probably ever had because I refused to go down with a bad interview, But, yeah, he was one of the ones that I thought would have been a great interview and turned out to be horrible. Then, the biggest interview we've ever had, ever.
Oh, is that the one that went for a very long time?
No, that's there's two that were the best.
Okay.
There were two that were the best, but the other one is the one that I was pacing when he was getting on the phone. And it only went about 15 minutes because he wouldn't give me more time than that. But
Hogan.
I talked to his daughter.
Hogan.
I planned that perfectly. I thought, okay, the way to get to Hogan is to go through his daughter. And he was trying to push his daughter as a pop singer.
Right.
So I had his daughter on for 50 minutes. And then she goes, hold on a sec. Someone wants to talk to you. And I said, oh no, is it going to happen? And sure enough,
it did.
He came on. Yo, brother, I had to play the dad, and I had to send her back to her room to do her homework. And that set everything. Like all the talking I did to her was flirting, and I thought, oh boy, I was flirting with a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old. That was dangerous. And I hope he wasn't listening to the show. And then I thought he's going to kill me. But we had him on twice.
Yes.
And that was awesome because everyone that was in the wrestling business kept asking how I got him on. And they said, well, he doesn't do interviews for free. You had to pay him $10,000. Nope, I haven't paid anybody anything. And that was one of my favorite interviews of all time because it was right after our second interview, he broke up with his wife. And we knew something was going on. I didn't know what was going on, but I watched the show, Hogan's Knows Best, and I thought, maybe it's scripted. Maybe they scripted that way. I don't think they did. And that was, we had him right before, it was like a month later he broke up with her.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome. We got some scoops that were really big. But the second biggest one, or this maybe equal to, was when we were told by Bret Hart he was going to give us 15 minutes.
Yes.
And we got 2 hours out of him.
Yes. I remember that one.
What an awesome interview.
He was in Hawaii, too.
Yeah, he called me,
Yep.
and that was great. But don't forget, we also had Chris Jericho.
Yes.
I had to interview him on a Friday, but, you know, I interviewed him, and it was awesome. We had an interview that was just... If I had known he was going to be where he is now... I mean, I already realized that he was pretty big, and that he was kept climbing the ladder. But now he's one of the top guys, and he's kind of in the Hogan League, although he'll never be of that. There's not going to be another Hogan.
No.
But you got a lot of things with The Rock, Stone Cold, The Undertaker. Those guys all made probably more money than Hogan because of the times. But but we had Bret Hart, and that was a major thing for me. And Jericho was awesome. I loved that. I was so much looking forward to him because I watched him from the ground up. I watched him from pretty much once he hit the circuit in the United States, I would go to see him. He was part of ECW, and he was one of the things I liked about ECW because he was a wrestler. I remember him when he used to do that lion salt, and he missed it a couple times when he was learning how to do it. And he'd do it in ECW, and he would actually slip off the ropes, and
Ouch.
he would recover. He'd still do it. But, you know, it's kind of funny how to watch them all grow. But think of the guys that we've had on the show that are now in WWE, like Brian Daniels, or Daniel Bryan, depending which name you want to use.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had CM Punk.
Samoa Joe.
We had Samoa Joe. We had Luke Gallows.
Yes.
Actually, we went to a match with Luke Gallows. He was on a card with me a long time ago. And who else did we have? We've had so many. Brody Lee.
Yes.
Who is now Brody Lee again. When he went into the WWE, he wasn't Brody Lee, but when he left the WWE and went to AEW, he became Brody Lee again. I didn't get Cody Rhodes. I'd like to get him, but you know, maybe some point I'll approach him. But I'd like to get Jim Ross. I don't know if I can get him though, but I'd like to get him. I can't find a way to get to him to ask.
That would be cool. I mean, we did like after Gordon Soley passed, we had his daughter on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They sent me a book too.
Yes.
I think I have their book somewhere. Might be up there. I don't know. How about Mick Foley? Having him on the show
Mick
a couple
Foley,
times.
Definitely.
And how about Bruno?
Scotty Too Hottie.
I had Bruno on.
Yep.
Bruno was a major coup for me because nobody was getting Bruno. Nobody. And I got Bruno. I had him every year for a couple years.
Jimmy Snuka.
I'll talk of Snuka later, but Bruno was really great. How about Devon Dudley?
Yes.
Is he the one that hugged me? I think he did. Devon Dudley was awesome, and he even sent Pam an autographed picture, which I had upstairs, because she kept saying she wanted a Dudley brother picture, and he sent it to me. He made sure I got it, and he was awesome. I liked Devon was really cool. I know who it was. How about Terry Funk?
Yes.
Do you remember?
Oh.
Do you remember Terry Funk was
yes.
like he got thrown. He hung up on Q106, Q105, Q105.7. He hung up on him because he said he didn't like the way they were asking questions, and they didn't. And I called him, and he said, "Oh yeah, I'll come on your show anytime," because I'd had him already. And I remember first time I met him, New Jack, which is another name we've had, and we'll talk about New Jack next. But New Jack invited me to the ECW reunion, which was called. What was that ECW reunion called? It wasn't ECW because they couldn't use the name because Vince McMahon had bought the name. But anyway, I went down there and I got my
Hardcore Homecoming.
Yes, and I got my book. Something I don't buy many of. I only have a couple books, and every one of them are just about wrestling. I brought my Terry Funk book, and I walked up to Terry Funk because he was signing books, and I said, would you sign this? And he said, yeah, sure. I said, what's your name? I said, Mike Trash. He said, he looked up and he said, Trash Man!
I remember.
But then we saw him at Bruno's thing 2 weeks later, and he came up and hugged me.
Yes.
That's who hugged me.
Yes.
I was really surprised to be hugged by Terry Funk. Because Terry Funk, when I was a kid, he was so mean. I just I'd be scared of him. I thought, oh.
Yeah, because that's when you got me the Terry Funk book for my birthday.
Oh, good. Maybe I don't have it. Do I have one? I think I have one.
I think you do have one, but
Yeah.
I know I still have mine.
Is yours autographed?
Yes.
Okay. But it was great to have Terry Funk, the hardcore legend, hugging me at Bruno Sammartino's dinner. It was awesome. Do you remember how I got us into that? Did we pay?
No.
Did we pay? We didn't pay anything.
No.
We got into the conference and we got into the Bruno Sammartino dinner for free, and everybody else had to pay.
Yeah, and I even remember that one where you're like, I've been Mike Trash, I've been promoting this thing for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
we've had some good
I was on my
times.
high horse. I was definitely on my high horse then. I did a lot of stuff for a lot of promoters.
And, I mean, we did a show with Jerry the King Lawler, too. I mean, it wasn't...
That cost me money
Yeah.
because we didn't get paid because they gave our money to him.
Yeah.
I was not happy about
But
that.
that was like one of the longest ones we did, aside from the whole week in Georgia.
Yeah, it was definitely it was fun. I definitely enjoyed going to all those things that we did. We definitely, in a short period of time, I got to do a lot of stuff that was awesome. I mean, it was great. Oh, Jim Ross is. Oh, look at that!
There you go.
Well, thank you, Mitch. I didn't know that. Let's ask for him to. I would love him to help me. I want to talk to him so bad because that man has done it all, and I watched him from a young age as he was the best play-by-play guy ever, and there's no one that can touch him. There's just no one. So I would love to talk to him. But anyway, all right. So who else? Where did I tell you to remind me of somebody?
There's a lot you
there
told
was-
me.
there
New Jack.
New Jack. Okay,
oh, yeah.
so New Jack. When I went to the Hardcore Homecoming, I said, well, I said I don't. It's. I made every excuse not to go because I wasn't sure because I had New Jack on a couple times, and he liked me. I thought, okay, it'll probably be okay, but meeting him in person was really intimidating. But I found out that he was actually a nice guy in person. Mm-hmm. But he really intimidated the living daylights out of me. But I said to him, well, I don't have a room. He goes, oh, I'll give you a room. I'm like, oh shoot, what am I gonna say now? I couldn't really talk out. I couldn't talk my way out of it because everything I said, he had an answer for. So I went down to the arena and they let me in early. They didn't want to let me in early, but New Jack got me in. But the guard said I had to sit right here. I couldn't move the whole time. So while they're getting set up and everything, I sat in where I was allowed to sit, and then I moved over to Terry Funk and had him sign my book because that was kind of part of the deal. And just after the matches were over, New Jack and I went back to his room, and he said he had an extra room because he bought a room and then they got him a room. So he had an extra room anyway. And we stayed up all night, and we just talked all night. And he's a really interesting person. Mm-hmm. I learned, and actually one of those... there
was a wrestling convention that we went to.
Yeah, but one of those behind the scenes, what was it called? Wrestling...
Between the Sheets?
Not
No.
Between the Sheets. That's the one that did the Owen Hart thing. The Dark Side of the Ring.
Okay.
Was about New Jack.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you what. After that, it scares me more again. I used to think I was okay with New Jack. Now I'm scared again. But anyway, New Jack became a really good friend of the show, and he was on all the time. He has the record for the most listeners on this show.
Wow.
I remember that when we brought him on the first time, he canceled being on with another show because he thought they were jerks, and he said, I'll come on your show. And he brought everybody from that other show over,
Yeah.
and we had a huge number that day. And it was probably bigger than the Hogan one.
Well, I remember the show in Altoona that we were doing, and he was on, and you had texted me telling me,
yeah.
be careful,
I said-
because you knew New Jack was coming, and I'm like, I'm at ringside taking pictures, and I'm like, I've done this, I know.
I told you to stay away from the wrestlers on
Yeah.
this particular... I didn't tell you who the wrestlers were.
And then I saw New Jack, and I was like, okay, that's New Jack. How bad can it be? And then I saw the light tubes. I'm like, here, you take it. If you want them, you get them.
It was a fun night. And let's see, here we went... trying to think who some of the bigger...
Well, I remember the one convention we went to that King Kong Bundy was there and New Jack was there. And there was that big snafu there, too.
Bundy was one of the ones that wanted paid.
Yeah.
There were a couple people, Bundy,
Patera.
There was another one, too, that wanted paid. Oh, Lawler's kid.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember the name.
Brian Christopher.
Okay.
Yeah, and I, of course, didn't pay for any of them. Now, let's talk about Snuka. Snuka was one. It
Yes.
took me 3 years to get him on the show because his wife wouldn't let him do interviews.
Right.
And there was a reason for it because he didn't speak very good English. And it would have been a bad interview if I had not already known him. But I talked to him, and he said, yeah, I'll do it, brother. And his wife would say, no, I don't want him doing it. And I talked to his wife, and I said, look, I promise you, it's going to be a good interview. We've talked to him. I've talked to him many times. I've wrestled with him many times. And I promise you, I will only be respectful. And she finally let him come on the show.
Yes.
And it was a great interview. Only because I pulled a Harley race on him. I did my research, and I knew how to conduct it. So I might have done that before the Harley race, but no, I think it was after. And that was an awesome achievement to have him on the show after all the things that he did.
Well, I know when we were in Georgia, he was at
Yep.
center stage with us.
Yep.
And they came over to me and asked me if I'd help him sell his stuff.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. We had our table there, and I was helping him, too. I loved it.
What about, talk about
Uh-oh.
classic things.
Uh-oh.
PWR, I'm going to bring that up again.
Yes.
It was a day that Ted DiBiase was going to be awarded a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh, that promo.
And this was something he did not know was coming.
Right.
He didn't know he was getting an award. He didn't know that his award was going to be shattered by me. And nobody else knew except me and the promoters and the booker. And I did this long 5-minute interview, or not interview, promo that was, you were not that good. If it weren't for your son, you wouldn't be blah, 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 blah. And it was a mean interview. By the way, it's on my YouTube. If you didn't see it and you want to see it, go to my YouTube. It's worth seeing because
Yep.
it was a long interview, or a long promo. And I'm just telling you that it was a mean promo. In fact, it was so mean
I couldn't believe he did it.
that when I videoed it and gave it to the promoter, it was so mean that I was backstage when they played it. And I can tell you that I was cowering in the corner when anybody would come near me because I was so scared of my playlist would be wrestling. Go to wrestling playlists right there. Not play all, but if you can view that.
Oh.
Not play it. But yeah, that was an awesome. And at the end, I went up to him and I said, at the end when we're all leaving, I said, Ted, I hope you aren't upset about that promo. He said, no, I loved it. I said, okay, all right, that's all I want to hear.
But you were Sheik Zabala at that time.
Actually, it was Sheik Zabala.
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't there. I couldn't have been there because I was somewhere else. But yeah, that was Genesis Pro. That wasn't even PWR. Oh, that's right. They did change the name to Genesis Pro when they moved it to Connecticut. I forgot about that. Yeah. That was an interesting promotion. They didn't want Mike Trash. They wanted somebody different.
Yeah.
And I remember that now. I forgot all about that. Yeah, that was fun, and that was pretty intense because that was the longest promo I have ever done. I mean, that he ever did, that they ever did. That you know.
Oh yeah, I remember those shows because that's actually the promotion where we met Nietzsche, wasn't it?
Yes.
In Connecticut.
I don't know if it was that one, if that is the actual show, but it may have been. Then, let's talk about Brimstone. Now, Brimstone,
our buddy
Brimstone was part of PWR when we got there, and we'd sit in the back talking about our dreams, and he was telling me he's going to start this comic book company. And I'm thinking to myself, who would do that? I mean, he's like, in his late 30s, early 40s. Why would anybody do that? I couldn't understand it because it's foreign to me because, I didn't.
Because you didn't do it.
Because I haven't seen a comic book since I was like, I don't know, in my teens. But little did I know how big that the comic book company, how big the company. Little did I know how big the comic book industry is.
Right.
So, hey, But anyway, so he would talk about that, and he would talk about getting into acting, and I thought, oh man, that's a big change and stuff. And that's before I even considered doing the acting stuff. And because he was a drummer in a very successful band up in Long Island before wrestling. So I thought about it, and I thought, okay, well, I'm supportive of whatever you want to do. And little by little, I saw him grow into another person. I saw him grow into the actor, and he started doing the comic book thing, and he started making it a big company. Then he didn't just do his; he did other people's comic books, and I don't know where it is today, but yeah, he did do a lot of cool stuff. I'm going to talk about that.
What, this?
I'm going to talk about her.
Okay.
Then, but yeah, I just really think that. That was a lot of fun, and watching him grow up and well, when I say grow up, I mean evolve into the business that he evolved into. That was pretty cool, and so
yeah, because now he does his own show too. What is it, Grindhouse Radio?
Yeah. Which I've never been invited to be on, by the way. Not that I'm bitter.
But Brim's there when we need him. How many times has he? Whenever we would go to the shows, he would always ask how Pam was doing. And
yes, he was.
Yeah,
Brimstone has been a good guy. I mean,
I remember his roast that we did.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. So then we went to, what I was getting at is we went to a party that was being held for, I want to say autism, raising money for autism awareness or something like that. But Pam went with us on that, and I got to interview some pretty cool people. I got to interview Metal Mike,
yes,
who played with Rob Halford. I got to play with, and Ozzy, by the way. He played, I think, for Ozzy also. I got to interview Jose Hernandez Jr.,
yes,
who's been on several things that I've watched, one of which was Oz.
Yes.
But I've seen him on other things, too. And got to meet some people at that.
Dara Boyd.
Yeah. I wonder whatever happened to her. She was a comedian.
She actually I think she had weight loss surgery because I have her on Facebook.
I have not talked to her in a long time. She was, I enjoyed talking. Is she the one I kissed?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
Yep.
Wow. I might have to give her another chance.
Yep.
Wow. She looks pretty good.
Yeah, she lost a lot of weight.
I'm going to have to talk to her because that may be my next Mrs. Trash. But yeah, those are just some of the things that we've done thanks to this freaking show. It's opened a lot of doors, and it's given me a chance to do things that I never thought I would ever have a chance to do. I love the fact that we had opportunities to travel places I had never thought I'd be traveling to and meeting people. How about going down to Abby's Rib House, House of Ribs, and which is not there anymore, but it was a really awesome thing. I am friends with him on Facebook, by the way, Abby. Yeah. And I would like to get him on the show. I would love to sit and...
As long as you don't have ribs in your hand when he calls.
I would love to pick his brain. I really would, because there's a guy who's been around and scared kids. How about Ivan Koloff?
Yes.
When I had him on, the first time I thought I wasn't going to have him on because he called me up and said, I'm not going to be able to do the show. And I thought, why? Now, Ivan Koloff was the meanest SOB on television that you would ever see. And he would scare you. He was a new Jack of that time.
Yes.
So, when I saw him first, I thought, I want to have him on the show. Because this is a guy that I was scared of as a kid. He wasn't a big, tall guy, but he was just mean and nasty. And even into his 60s, he was mean and nasty. And I thought, I really got to talk to this guy. And sure enough, I got a hold of him, and he agreed to do the show. And then, like 2 days before the show, or a day before I think he called me on a Sunday. So, he told me I can't do the show. And I said, well, are you okay? He said, yeah, I'm fine. I said, well, why can't you do the show? He said, well, the show's called Trash Talking Radio. I said, yeah. He says, well, I don't want to trash talk anybody.
It makes sense for somebody who doesn't know.
I said, well, yeah, but, he goes, my wife won't let me talk to you because you have Trash Talking Radio, and we don't want to trash talk anymore. He's a devout Christian, and he didn't want to bust on anybody. And his wife said no. And I said, well, wait a minute. Trash Talking Radio is because of Mike Trash, me talking radio. And he said, oh. He said, hold on a sec. And he had a conversation with her. And then she let him do it. Now, okay, so the irony of this whole thing is that Ivan Koloff...
I don't know that one.
The irony of the whole thing was that Ivan Koloff was the meanest SOB ever. But his wife wouldn't let him do it. To me, that was funny. So, and we've had a lot of people that are no longer with us.
Right.
Axel Rotten, Balls Mahoney, yeah. Ivan Koloff, Jimmy Snuka, Bruno Sammartino. I mean, the list goes on, and I'm just glad I had the opportunity to archive their interviews, because these people, Dusty Rhodes, I mean, these people were really a major key to the industries that they were in. ECW wouldn't have been ECW if it didn't have Balls Mahoney or Axel Rotten. And, who knows where the booking would have been if Dusty was not around. These were all people that really made an impact on the business, on their segment of the business. And so we were lucky enough to be able to talk to all of those people. And that just, to me, is awesome. And I feel, there are people that ask me for the archives of my show fairly regularly. And I wish I had them up, because I used to have the archives hosted here. And eventually I'm going to do that again. It just takes time and money, and both of which I don't have right now.
Well, I know, like, for me, the show has opened where I was doing a little bit of ring announcing, besides the photography.
I remember when somebody said, I wish I had the guts to do that.
Yeah.
And I made it happen.
Yeah, because it was Mike Black's promotion that I started doing it.
Yeah.
His first show, and then I did some for Wolfie.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yep. I tried to make everybody around me that I could help, I like to help them out. And that meant, seeing if the promoters would be open to those kind of things. And they were. So
I mean, a lot of times it was taking the pictures and running video, getting pictures at ringside or whatever, and I was fine with that. But then when you actually made it happen for ring announcing, I was like, oh no.
Got to be careful what you ask for when you're around me.
That's true. That is very true.
But yeah, it's kind of cool. We had a lot of things that were unexpected that happened, and I really have appreciated the people that have supported me and helped me get to the pinnacle of things that I did with wrestling. And music is just the next stable, and actually music or acting, music and acting, or acting, directing, whatever it is that I end up doing next, because I am doing different things. I'm enjoying the different adventures that I've had, so it's fun.
You've also worked with Roddy Piper.
Oh, yeah.
I saw this, and that's what reminded me of it.
One of the biggest disappointments in my life, yes. I was hoping it would be a good thing, but turned out wasn't so good. So I just felt that he was really not cooperative in what he had to do, and it just kind of disappointed me, because here's this guy who's a legend in everything he's done, and he just he was just a dick as far as I was concerned. He made it difficult to work with him, even though he didn't have to do much, and he did as little as he had to do, and then some. And then all the guys turned on him, and everyone that did a promo, of the 6 of us, or wait, it was one of the 7 of us that did promos, only one of us did a promo on the match, which was me, because everybody did a promo against him because they were all mad because he was acting like a jerk. But he got paid real good to be a good jerk. So I would, I don't know, I kind of got disappointed, because I really expected him to be more professional. But, I did like his book. I did read his book. I actually read his book.
Wow.
I read Mick Foley's books, too.
Yeah.
So
I remember reading Jimmy Valiant's in a weekend.
that's
a thick book.
That's a big book. I use it for the coffee table upstairs. It's too big for me to read.
Well, I can't wait for my next one to get here.
Which one?
James Murray.
Oh, yeah.
So that's...
I'd like to get them on the show. Any of them on the show.
Yes.
And
well, Sal knows Johnny.
Well, I might have to work on that, because I'd like to have him on. He'd be funny. He would be my way into their lives, because I just think those guys are hilarious, and I really would like to talk to. I'd like to talk to all of them.
Oh yeah.
But not at the same time. I
think I would probably be like I was with Sean, not able to speak.
Well, Sean was a much bigger name than they are. But they're doing pretty good. They're doing all right with their stuff, so that's good. All right, I guess we should move on. Enough reminiscing, but you never know.
Oh, we could do that all night.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, now I want to talk about someone who just passed away. And and the reason for the background. Of course, we lost the one and only Charlie Daniels this week.
Wow.
And the reason I have the picture up that I have up is the Journey Home project was something he was very... he was a big reason for that. And I kind of thought that it would be something that would be worth talking about. So, the Journey Home project... now I need to switch the screens. Let me see here. See if I do this right. There we go. Now I got to bring this back. Oh, there we are. Wait a minute. Oh, there we go. Oh, that really looks bad now, because my lighting still isn't right. I need to really work on that. I keep saying I'm going to do that, and I never really do it. Let me see if we can fix it a little bit. Fix my green screen that isn't green enough. Yeah, screw it. Anyway, so we have the Charlie Daniels. He did a thing called the Journey Home Project, and basically it's about the veterans. It says often when veterans return from their tour of duty, tour of service, The tolls of war have been too great to bear alone. Wars in the Middle East and other parts of the world have left some of our bravest personnel with injuries that affect the rest of their lives. Some require intense rehabilitation and years of physical therapy. Other trauma cannot be seen. The horrors of war leave psychological scars. You know, my cousin went to, was in Vietnam, and he just never recovered, and he ended up killing himself. And I to this day wish that he had found a thing like this that would have helped him. And he just couldn't find his way. He was messed up before. Oh, by the way, hi Kelly. He was messed up before, and he just got worse, and ended up taking his own life in the process.
I mean, my dad had the PTSD.
Yeah.
And it was just, he wasn't able to talk about it for a long time, and it wasn't till like the last maybe 3 or 4 years or so that he actually could talk a little bit about his time in Vietnam.
Well, I just really think that it's important that people know that this help is out there, because if they don't, they'll never act on it. Mm-hmm. And they really need to know that it is there. And so I want to take a little time here to talk about it, because I would have loved to have him on the show, but obviously that's not going to happen. But it's important that people know that this is out there and this is available. And they have projects, they have things going beyond the problem, to return, to rehabilitate, to reintegrate. And PTSD, education, reintegration, rehabilitation, those are their main objects in this whole thing. So, Charlie Daniels says, and I learned early in my life that only 2 things protect America: the grace of the Almighty God and the U.S. military. It was that way then, it is that way now, and will forever be that way as long as America remains free and a sovereign nation. So it's really cool that he did this thing. I wonder how long this is. Let me see. Oh, it's 2 minutes. Maybe we'll watch this. How about we watch this? I'll probably get in trouble for it, but we'll watch it. Let me take us out of the picture. So they're talking about the founders of Charlie Daniels and David Corlew. $1 million in funds raised supporting rehabilitation, education, and reintegration. The MTSU Daniels Center, assisting currently military veterans and family moved. $50,000 grant to study Cartel C. What is that? What is that?
Yeah.
Have you heard of that? I didn't even know.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Well, I want to back up a sec here. Okay, that's the PTSD. I want to see that. I couldn't read it because it was just too fast. It said $50,000 grant to study CAR T cells research in veterans and first responders. I've never heard of that.
CAR T cell therapy. It's like, it says that CAR T cell therapies are generally created using a patient's own T cells. They're designed to recognize and direct an immune response against targeted cells. So it's like regenerating your own body
like
cells.
Like stem cells.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. PTSD, treatment and awareness. It says here, empowering veterans, active duty, military, and their families to tell their stories through the process of songwriting.
Wow.
It says here, Operation Songwriting programs create an opportunity to transform service-related issues, injuries, and illnesses into a structured musical outlet as and enhancement of traditional therapies and or treatments. Since 2012, we have written over 600 songs with veterans of World War II to those currently serving. We hold weekly workshops in Middle Tennessee and sponsor events and group retreats throughout the U.S. Those we serve need no musical background, only the desire to tell their stories. I wonder how many of those songs hit the charts.
I don't know.
It says a soldier's child, serving Gold Star children of fallen servicemen and women from all U.S. military branches. ASC acknowledges all deaths during active duty and any deaths post-military service due to service-related injuries or illnesses. A soldier's child, our mission is to serve the children of the fallen military personnel who have lost their lives on an active duty and post-service related deaths that were due to a service-related injury or illness. A soldier's child, ASC Foundation, honors the children of our fallen American defenders of freedom by celebrating their birthday every year through the age of 18. ASC holds numerous camps throughout the year for ASC kids that are ages 9 to 16, for our PS23 mentors, and that are 17, and for our PS23 mentors that are 17 and older. ASC also facilitates secondary college scholarships for our ASC recipients in our program. Then there's the Legend Fund in Chapter 38, scholarships for children of Special Forces and caring for the needs and families of the deployed and fallen. Shadow Warriors Project, to inspire hope by offering assistance to these warriors and their families who have walked through fire but continue to move forward. Charlie 5, providing veterans with purpose and perpetuate growth of equine assisted therapy program while raising awareness for organizations that challenge and inspire our nation's combat veterans. What's that?
This is the kind of stuff we need out there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
These kind of
That's
organizations.
why I wanted to talk about it, because this is something I never heard of until his death. Code of Vets, raising awareness and dollars to support the needs of all veterans.
Thank you, Charlie.
Reboot Combat Recovery, supporting veterans and first responders with a 12-week faith-based trauma healing to recover from spiritual and moral wounds. The Allegiance Collection, promoting veterans in the arts. The Journey Home Project. So that's why I wanted to talk about it.
Amazing.
To me, that's pretty big. I mean, Charlie Daniels don't have to do anything. But he thought that he had to give back, or felt he wanted to give back, and that's his way of doing it. To me, that's a pretty big piece to give back, because that covers a lot of different things. But Charlie Daniels, I think, is the man. He definitely he definitely was a great man when it comes down to giving back. So he gave back a lot. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows it's about it. It says we assist non-for-profit causes that provide veterans with rehabilitation, reintegration, and opportunities as they transition to civilian life. So it's a big thing. Actually, there is a tweet. We'll be making arrangements soon, but in lieu of flowers, please donate to Charlie's charity at TJH Project, whose goal is to assist vets adjust to civilian life. Almost every day, CD Charlie Daniels tweeted that 22 vets commit suicide a day. So support TJHP here, which is SmartUL TJH project. And so definitely check it out. I think it's a worthwhile thing. It's from his website, which is charliedaniels.com.
Wow.
It says here, where's it at? Here it is. It says here, country music and southern rock legend Charlie Daniels has passed. The Country Music Hall of Fame and Grand Ole Opry member died July 6th at the Summit Medical Center in Hermitage, Tennessee. Doctors determined the cause of his death was a hemorrhage stroke. He was 83. So, but we don't want to cry about it. We want to, be happy that he gave everything he gave. And to do so,
see the video's logo right here?
To do so,
Instead of that, you just
we're going to humiliate ourselves
it used to be
by singing a Charlie Daniels song. So, Trish and I have decided that we're going, I know that you haven't decided, but I'm deciding for you, that we're going to sing a song with very little practice.
I'll say very little.
Do I sing the first part?
Yes.
Okay. And then you sing the devil. You're the devil.
Yes.
Yes, that's you. I have no idea how this is going to come out. It may be horrible. I am expecting it to be horrible. But, hey, it's in the line of the...
It's our way to...
We're giving back to the vets.
Yeah.
This is the Journey Home project. And if it doesn't come off well, we didn't do it for the Journey Home project.
You can turn your speakers down, but just remember to turn them back up later. After it's over.
This is The Devil Went Down to Georgia via the Trash Talking Radio Show. Don't expect much. That's all I'm going to tell you right now, because we're only doing it one take. And I don't know. I know I've been stumbling through it because it's a lot of words in a short period of time. Here we go. Is this the one I wanted?
Yes.
Yes, okay, good. Here we go. The devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind, he was way behind, and he's willing to make a deal. When he came across this young man sawing on a fiddle and playing it hot, the devil jumped up and hickory stomped him. He said, "Boy, let me tell you what.
You know it, but I'm a fiddle player too. And if you'd care to take a dare, I'll make a bet with you. Now you play pretty good fiddle, boy, but give the devil his due. I bet a fiddle of gold against your soul to think I'm better than you."
Boy said, "My name's Johnny, and it might be a sin, but I'll take your bet, and you're gonna regret, because I'm the best there ever been." Johnny loosened up and blowing a fiddle hard, 'cause hell's broke loose in Georgia, and the devil deals it hard. And if you win, you get this shiny fiddle made of gold, but if you lose, the devil will get your soul. All right, we're going. We're rocking. I think this next part's yours, though.
It is.
Oh boy, here we go.
Devil opened up his case and he said, "I'll start this show." Then fire flew from his fingertips as he rosined up his bow. He pulled the bow across the strings and it made an evil hiss. And then a band of demons joined in and it sounded something like this.
Oh yeah. Not too bad so far. But you never know. We're probably going to get a hit for this from YouTube, but we're doing it anyway. I'm playing bass on this. I believe this is yours.
The devil finished. Johnny said, "You're pretty good, old son."
And let me show you how it's done. Found a mountain, run, boy, run. The devil's in the house of the rising sun. Chicken in the bread pan, moving up low, low. Granted, it's wrong like no child knows. Yeah. I'm playing now. That's right. I'm playing the air violin, or the air
Fiddle.
whatever, fiddle, yeah.
devil bowed his head because he knew that he'd been beat. He laid that golden fiddle on the ground at Johnny's feet.
Johnny said, "Devil, just come on back if you ever want to try again. Because I told you once, you son of a bitch, I'm the best there's ever been. Play it run, run, boy, run. Devil's in the house of the rising sun. Chicken in the bread pan, look down low. Granny does a dog bite, no child, no. Oh, yeah. That's it, right? All right, that's us. That's Trash Talking Radio style. Doing it for Charlie Daniels and the Journey Home Project, I think. Maybe not. It depends if they liked it or not. All right. That's the first time we ever did anything like that, so. All right.
Yeah, I wasn't ready. Like you said, we didn't have much practice.
No, we didn't. We only did it like
Twice.
So, all right. So anybody that wants to do that,
You can turn your speakers back up now.
I guess I'll post this in case you wanted to sing along this time.
Oh, I remember doing something in music class to that song. You know, the music teacher was asking us different questions, and it was interesting. This was definitely nice. We actually, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. Yeah, you sprung it on me as soon as I got here.
Oh yeah, I said, oh, by the way, you're going to sing. Yeah. Well, I don't want to make it, we'll leave that up as our page for the day. So, okay. So we did that. Rather than go through and, everybody knows who Charlie Daniels is, so I don't really need to do anything about that. But, I wanted to definitely, because the guy, I don't get into country, but I would listen to a Charlie Daniels song. And that's because he crossed over and he made it so that it was cool to listen to that.
But see, this is kind of like old country versus what today's country's like.
That could be. I kind of like some of. Oh, I don't want to put this. I kind of like some of the new country, like that. What's his name? Ford.
Who?
What's his name? His name's Ford. His last name's Ford. It's like a new country. It uses, like, he does a little rapping with his country. It's a little actually kind of interesting that he got away with that stuff. I don't like rap, but I like the fact
making sure you're not
sick. Progressive. And so, all right, let's move on. I got a lot of stuff. Okay, what are we doing here? Okay, nothing there. I want to try to bang through some of these that are interesting. This is interesting because you're an Alex Trebek fan.
Yes.
He made a $500,000 donation to a new homeless shelter. Did you know that?
No.
That shows what kind of man he is. Here, well, of course, he's got cancer, brain cancer, right? Is it brain cancer?
Pancreatic.
Pancreatic cancer. Oh, that's what my ex-wife has. She's
Pretty sure that's what it is.
No, she had. Yeah, no, I don't remember. So that's interesting. But it says here, following up on a similar generosity that we'll get into a second time, TMZ reports that Jeopardy mainstay and GOAT game show host Alex Trebek has donated $500,000 to a homeless shelter charity looking to get a new facility up and running in Southern California's San Fernando Valley by next week.
You know what GOAT means, right?
Yes,
okay.
It means...
greatest of all times.
No, it means...
Yes, it does.
It's an animal.
Not in this sense.
Yeah, it is. That's why they capitalized it.
Jeez.
Because it's a goat.
Greatest of all time.
That would be me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the organization's apparently using the donation of Trebek and others for an ultra-ambitious center, currently going by the name of Hope Central. TMZ reports the facility will be a 50,000 square foot, and it'll house a number of area's homeless seniors. The current plan is to scout properties, which is reportedly already underway, with the aim to break ground in 2021. Oh yeah, we weren't on, were we?
No.
We didn't need to be on. Then they couldn't laugh at us because we didn't do very good. The newest donation from Trebek comes on the heels of a previous and similar display of generosity in which he gave $100,000 for a separate North Hollywood-based facility built by the same organization. So now he's given $600,000. Wonder how much money he's worth to give that kind of money away.
Let me see what I can find out.
Not that it matters. He's not going to give me any, but, you know. It says here, later in the day, Trebek made his way to yet another Hope of the Valley facility, this one in Van Nuys, and got spotted in between, making a stop at Home Depot. We otherwise ignore that part. I mean, I know non-famous people go to Home Depot all the time, but that was picked for some reason or another.
Okay, he will be 80 on July 22nd.
Wow.
And he's worth $75 million.
You know, I didn't realize he was 80.
He will be.
So my mom's 77.
Yep.
If he wasn't married, I would have hooked him up.
Yep. He has an annual salary of $10 million.
Wow. Okay, that makes sense then.
So.
That makes sense. That's, well, I mean, that's, I guess $500,000 doesn't matter if you have $10 million a year coming. So, that's really cool. That's, it's still nice though that the guy didn't get too big to care about others, you know, because there are people that their money is their money.
Yes. Now, like
I'm not one of those, by the way.
Well, I've seen this article here that says as of 2019. Okay, in 2019 he was worth $50 million. So in 1 year he jumped up $25 million. It also said he has a contract to host Jeopardy until 2022.
Okay.
Assuming he lives that long because of the
I hope he
pancreatic.
doesn't get fired.
Well, I think it's
suck.
the cancer more so.
You don't think he'll have it renewed?
I doubt it. He purchased a mountain in 1990.
Okay.
Well, it said it was intended to be the site of his dream home.
Well, but 1990, if you haven't built your dream home by now.
I know, and then it said his former home was listed for $3.995 million in 2013.
Okay.
So I was like, wow. And he gifted a sum of $1 million to Fordham University in 2019.
Well, he's probably setting aside enough money for his wife to live on, and giving a lot away because he's one of those. Well, he's one of those guys that really cares about other people. So, what's that tell you about the guy? He's super intelligent, and he wants to give away his money. He's part. I wonder if he's part of that Warren Buffett thing where, when they die, they give half of their income to charity.
He
might be.
He could
so
be.
that's, and if he's not, it
He should
doesn't
be.
matter because he's doing a good job. But anyway, I just found that interesting. And then, of course, you talked about this a little bit last week. Ron Jeremy charged with 3 counts of rape and 1 count of sexual assault. Now, there's a guy that I can't imagine women wanting to be with him anyway, but, you know, he has a long... And why would he want more sex? He has more sex than he needs to, that he knows what to do with.
Could be an addiction.
I guess. I think it's not the sex, it's the power of making people to do what you want them to do. But it says here, legendary porn star Ron Jeremy was charged with raping 3 women and sexually assaulting another. Los Angeles County District Attorney announced on Tuesday that this was Tuesday...
It was last Tuesday, wasn't it?
Yeah, the 23rd actually is when I got this. Where was I? Announced on Tuesday that Jeremy, who his real name is Ron Jeremy Hyatt. Missy Hyatt. I understand now. Was charged with 3 counts of forcible rape, 1 count of forcible oral copulation, and 1 count of sexual battery. So, hey, I don't know. The case was filed on Monday and is in connection with 4 separate incidents that date back to 2014. That was a bad year for a lot of people. Jeremy's accused of raping a 25-year-old woman in her home in West Hollywood in 2014. He allegedly sexually assaulted 2 other women, a 33-year-old and a 46-year-old, on 2 different occasions at a bar in West Hollywood. At this time, the authorities believe that Jeremy raped another 30-year-old in 2019. How much sex can you actually have? I mean, I realize I feel like I have a pretty high drive, but he's 67. And even if you take off, 6 years, which is, he would have been 63. What did I say? No, not right. 62. Wait, how many years is, what did I say, 2014? That's 6 years. Okay, so he would have been 61. I don't know. He's being held on a $6.6 million bond. Isn't the first time that Jeremy's behavior has been called in question. He was banned from the porn industry AVN Awards for violating its zero-tolerance harassment policy. Now, we met him, too.
Yes.
Met him in
Georgia.
2008 in Georgia. I would have told you, if you had asked me, Jeremy, not to rape people. Not a good thing. But you didn't ask. Anyway, so that's a strange story to think that, but I mean, there's a reason they're in that business. And, it's not just about the sex in general. So, here's one that is for Pam. I'm sorry she's not here to see it. Petition calling for Columbus, Ohio to be renamed Flavortown in honor of Guy Fieri hits 50,000 signatures.
Wow.
I live in Flavortown.
That just sounds wrong.
It's hilarious.
It is hilarious, but it sounds wrong.
And actually, the Guy Fieri is in this in the news for something else too that I'm going to talk about in just a second. Let's see here. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. It says, note that Columbus, Ohio Mayor Andrew Ginther has pledged to take the city's statue of Christopher Columbus, take it down. And another hope is on the horizon for the city's connection to a Columbus legacy. A Change.org petition is going around to rename Columbus to Flavortown as recognition of Guy Fieri's efforts in his home. I guess he must live in Ohio then. Mm-hmm. The conversation was started by Tyler Woodbridge, who lived in Columbus over 7 years and who believes in the removal of the statue isn't enough. Even in my favorite city, I was always ashamed of the name. So now we have a chance to make it. The 32-year-old launched a petition to honor. Oh, the 32-year-old is who? Is Tyler Woodbridge.
Yeah, because Guy's not 32.
I was going to say Guy's definitely not 32.
He's 52.
I was going to say he's definitely older than 32. Anyway, yeah. So it says here to honor the celebrity restaurateur. Flavortown is a catchphrase Fieri uses on his Food Network shows. The petition hit 50,000 goal, and Tuesday is now shooting for 75,000 signatures. Woodbridge characterizes Fieri's extremely charitable man as a charitable man, citing the fact that he has helped raise over $20 million for restaurant workers amid the pandemic. So he started this fund when this pandemic happened and everybody lost their jobs, and he was, trying to take care of that. And he has officiated over 100 LGBTQ weddings.
Wow.
That's the kind of optimism and charity work that embodies more of what Columbus, Ohio is about, rather than tarnish the legacy of Christopher Columbus. So I kind of thought that was cool. Now, there's another story about Guy Fieri, and I got to find it because it's not on the same page. Let me see here. Okay, so I'm going to delete this one. This one. The other one I think is on this one, Crimes page. I believe I can fly.
Well, Guy Fieri is one of Joe Gatto's friends, so...
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. You want to talk about being sure that you're going to capitalize on things. Those guys are smart. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. I got to find this other Guy Fieri thing. Hold on here. Must not be under that. Must be under the main show. Okay. Smashed video. Rare case. Let me go. Oh no. Where is it?
Did you delete it?
I hope not. 17. Where is it? It's got to be under crimes. Under crimes. Let's see.
Oh,
No.
I wouldn't think Guy Fieri would do anything wrong.
Well, you'll find out in a second. As soon as I find that story, it's here somewhere.
If you find it.
Where is it? Oh, it might be in this. I wonder if these are old stories here. Oh, these are old stories. That's why. Oh, here it is. 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 Nope, wrong one. This one. This one. Open the door. Here we go. Guy Fieri's in a second story. It says here,
Whoa.
this teen, 16-year-old that stole Guy Fieri's Lambo
Gallardo.
is given life in prison.
Wow.
It says here the teen roof repelled into his way into life behind bars. Most people are familiar with Guy Fieri, mostly because he had a petition, from what I understand, to rename it Flavortown. I heard that somewhere. But anyway, so he had his Lambo stolen by this kid. And it says here, most people are familiar with Guy Fieri, the mayor of Flavortown, as he is a celebrity host of the popular show Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. When he can cook up some proper food, Fieri tends to focus more on the weird concoctions in the kitchen. While he has a different approach from other celebrity chefs, he's successful with a host of restaurants under his ownership. And let's get back to the time when Guy Fieri's Lamborghini was stolen by a 16-year-old kid. And it says here, Guy's a car enthusiast and owns an extensive car collection. According to Drive Tribe, Fieri is a fan of muscle cars, and he owns a 1968 Pontiac Firebird and a 1967 Chevy Camaro, and mostly because his chef status and partially due to his success of his restaurants. Fieri can afford plenty of fine machinery worth a net. How much do you want to think? How much do you think his cars are worth?
$15 million.
Well, you're close. $8.5 million.
Wow.
One of those cars is a Lamborghini. And it says that has been through the ringer. Back in 2011, he was filming an episode of Triple D. What's Triple D?
Diners, Drive-Ins.
Oh, okay. In Chicago, when the unthinkable happened, at the time his bright yellow 2008 Lamborghini was getting service work done in San Francisco dealership worth $200,000. $200,000 for a car. That's a lot of money. It's for a slow car like that.
Yeah.
The exotic was a bullseye for theft, and the lone thief was just 16 years old. So if you're 16 in 2011 and you steal the car, and it's now 9 years later, this kid's now... Okay, anyway, the teen, Max Wade, actually rappelled down the building to Fierro's Lambo. Once at the car, Wade cracked the window where he disarmed the alarm and proceeded to drive the car off the dealership. Of course, everything was captured on surveillance camera, but the police weren't able to catch Wade for an entire year. Witnesses seeing the bright yellow exotic driving over an infamous... Now, first off, if I stole a Lamborghini, a bright yellow one,
Yeah.
I would have taken that car underground. I would not be driving that all over the place where I could be, catching trouble. Anyway, in the ballsy move by Wade, the stolen Lambo was often spotted out for joyrides by Fieri's friends, who would call the chef, who would dismiss the reports. Bizarrely, Wade was never caught on these joyrides, despite driving a bold exotic that stuck out like a sore thumb. Eventually, the car was found in Wade's storage locker. Fieri was informed by Wade's joyrides in the car, where Fieri said, "Brave kid," according to Eater. Fast forward to 2013, and Fieri took the stand in the court to testify against the teen. The stolen Lambo was in the spotlight, the case against Wade, but wasn't the only crime on the radar. Concluding the trial, the verdict was life in prison due to attempted murder of acquaintances.
Oh.
What happened to Fieri's Lambo? According to a source, once the trial ended, the car was reportedly confiscated by Fieri's insurance company. Outside of the courtroom, Fieri says, there are other facets to this case that are far more important than my car. The chapter has closed now, and Fieri continues to do what he does best. Could you imagine that you have this car, okay, someone steals your car, then they catch the guy a couple years later, and you still can't have the car back. So that guy's going to jail for life because he not only stole the car, but he killed some people.
Oh.
So now you know why he's going to jail. Not because he stole the Lambo, but Fieri's out of $200,000. I guess he must have got paid because it does say insurance was involved.
Unbelievable.
I'm just looking here. I believe that's what it says, right? Oh, yeah, reportedly. Okay, according to the source, once the trial ended, the car was confiscated by the insurance company. So I would think he at least got paid for it. Oh, I like Robert Irvine. He's my hero.
Yeah, I was just kind of looking around his website, because you're talking about Guy Fieri with, like, the diners and stuff. And
let's talk about Robert Irvine then.
Okay.
One of his... Did we talk about this on the show?
I don't think so,
we did.
but this looks good.
So, Robert Irvine has a show called Restaurant Impossible, and I love that show. I don't like cooking shows, but I like that show. And one of the people we helped was this girl in California who had this restaurant. And Rosie's Cafe. Mm-hmm. And so she had changed what she needed to change and was doing okay with it, and everything was working out fine, except that she went out cruising on her motorcycle and got sideswiped and by hit and run driver. And he got, they were running the show without her, and what happened was they were in trouble. They were in trouble because nobody knew how to run everything, because basically Rosie, well, not Rosie, Caitlin, I think was her name.
Yes, it is Caitlin.
Was the person in charge of everything, and her ex-boyfriend ran the kitchen, and everybody chipped in and tried to make it work, but this girl, was in a coma. So when she came out of the coma, she had lots of work to do to get back on her feet, and Robert Irvine heard about it, and he called all his forces, and people that were on the show in the past that wanted to pay it forward, other chefs and stuff, and they had a giant carnival for her, and they raised it was like $120,000.
Yeah, because he even gave $20,000 of his own money. Right. If you're able to see like past episodes,
it's worth
this particular episode.
I think it was the third episode of the
season 17, episode 2. It's called Helping One of Our Own.
Yeah, it actually is episode. There's 3.
Well,
I know that's episode 2, but the first episode was Robert Irvine watching one of his first show ever with his wife in his living room, and then the second show was the second was actually the first show, and the third show is actually the second show. So that's, if you remember, that was labeled wrong on but it's actually probably the third show. It's called Helping Our Own, I think is what it was, is the name of the show. But it's still a Restaurant Impossible. And if you get a chance to see it, it really shows what can happen when people work together for a common goal.
And they did this in 24 hours.
Yes.
Not only did they have like the carnival theme, but they took the restaurant and they were serving meals at $100 a plate too, and all that money went to her.
Right. So it would be kind of it's a good show. But anyway, enough of that. Now that I got those Guy Fieri things out of the way, I'll get rid of them. Let's see here. Go back to entertainment. Keanu Reeves is in the news again.
Oh boy, what did he do?
Something really cool.
Okay.
Keanu Reeves is auctioning off a chance to speak with him on Zoom
Oh, wow.
for children's cancer charity.
Sweet.
Now, he's kind of a cool guy, but he's kind of a bizarre guy because he's a musician and an actor, and his band it used to be called Dog Star. And, I think they were okay. I don't know if he still does that or not, but that would be a guy I would like to talk to. Because he has such a bizarre, he works whatever he wants. He doesn't he doesn't have I don't know how to explain it, but I think he's a pretty interesting person. So Keanu did a good thing by that. All right, then we got, that was just a, I didn't say, okay, here we go. 15 minutes to speak with him if you win the charity auction. It says here he's partnered with Camp Rainbow Gold to hold an auction where the winning bidder will get 15 minutes to speak with the star of the Matrix trilogy and John Wick franchise, or whatever they want. Despite a market value of $10,000, the current bid, I don't know if this is true, is $17,500. Just for 15 minutes.
Anybody that has that kind of money around, I'll give you my bank account numbers to put it in.
I wonder, I don't know, maybe this is over already, but yeah, I'd be curious how much it really actually went for. It doesn't say. Well, we could go to Rainbow Gold and find out. Let's see, programs, ways to help. Let's see, any auctions? Does it say? No. Trying to see if there's a current. Kind of want to. I might as well put this in for people to. Let's see here. All right, let's see here. I don't know. Kind of programs, events. How about events? That would be one. See if we can see the John Wick thing in here, or the Keanu Reeves thing. Okay, find it. You can do it. You can do it. I trust you can do it. And while this is doing it, I will post this in my Facebook and Twitter, so you can help Keanu make a difference. Come on, you can do that. I'm asking so little. I wonder if we're having an internet problem here.
No, I'm still up.
Oh, here we are. Okay, good. Let's see. Siblings, okay. Okay, we don't have anything there. Might be over. He might have already done it. So.
Well, I didn't get the phone call, so.
No, you didn't know about it then.
That's true.
So that's kind of cool, though, that he was willing to do that. And I guess I should do this on Twitter, too. Let's see what we got here. Oh, you didn't post. Post, let's see. But I think it's kind of cool that he is willing to put himself at 15. I mean, for 15 minutes, if you're paying $17,500, that's almost a car. That is a car.
Well, if you have that kind of money that you can do for 15 minutes, let me give you my bank numbers,
You're always about you. What about those poor kids?
Well, I'd share with the kids.
Uh-huh. I see that. Let's see. We'll copy this and put this in a tweet so people can do this. And then I grab the... There we go. Grab this. Copy.
See, I think these celebrities that do things for veterans or for the kids, that really just touches my heart because they're willing to put themselves out there. They're willing to use their celebrity status for the good.
Yeah. Ooh, this is interesting. I'm going to go to here. Woman loses job after video of her yelling, "White lives are better." Holy cow. What kind of idiot is this?
I don't want to know.
Oh, man. This is something I just saw, and because I would have never even imagine that people are that stupid. She deserves to lose her job because she's really stupid. The people said, "You're too dumb to work for us."
Whoa.
She told a 16-year-old protester, "You're just a poor little black girl with a messed up mind." A Tennessee woman has been fired after a video showing her yelling racist and homophobic comments towards a protester went viral over the weekend. During a protest sponsored by New Panther Initiative, a Black Lives Matter group in Elizabethton, Sonia Holt is filmed yelling, "White lives matter and white lives are better." She also tells a protester, "You're just a poor little black girl with a messed up mind." In another clip, Holt is shown berating a protester with homophobic slurs before telling him that he's going to burn in hell.
Oh, brother.
That's just, oh, man. And she worked at a vision place, so you'd think she could see the light. On Monday morning, Keith Family Vision Clinic in Johnson City confirmed Holt was no longer an employee, according to local news. And a man standing to Holt was also hurling racial comments at peaceful protesters as he said, "We should have kept you N-words as slaves." Sierra Gilmore, who recorded the video, told him that she was surprised at the reaction of the counter-protesters. "It is crazy," that 16-year-old said. "We kind of knew what to expect going into it. We knew there was going to be a counter-protest. We knew things might get a bit crazy. However, I wasn't expecting that." I swear this pandemic is causing people just to go crazy.
Wow.
Because who in their right mind, especially now with all the things that are going on, I don't get it. I just don't get it. But hey, more power to her. See you at the unemployment office.
Unbelievable.
Why can't I can't because I hit the wrong button. That's why. All right. That's funny. I mean, not funny at all, but it's funny that there's someone that stupid out there, and she got what she deserved as far as I'm concerned. So, anyway, back to Keanu Reeves, the good guy. Oh, man. So, Graham Linehan, creator of the It Crowd and Father Ted, has been removed from Twitter.
Oh,
Now, why? Well, nobody knows.
I was going to say, did he say something he wasn't supposed to?
Probably. It says here, has been permanently suspended from Twitter after allegedly making multiple transphobic comments. A Twitter spokesman said that @Glinner has been permanently suspended after repeated violations of our rules against hateful conduct and manipulation. And it says here that okay, so reports from The Guardian and the Irish Post say his account was closed when the comedian reportedly tweeted, Men aren't women, though, in response to a tweet by Women's Institute, a UK-based women's organization, wishing Happy Pride Month to its transgender members. Irish Linehan has been accused of making transphobic comments in the past. He previously compared trans activists to Nazis. Really? In another incident, he received 115 complaints from viewers that he compared children questioning their gender to children experimented on in Nazi Germany. This guy is so weird. I mean, I think that we ought to put him away a little bit here. It says here, Sean Fay, a British writer who's transgender, wrote that she's glad Linehan is gone from Twitter. Like any trans woman with a platform on here, I was subjected to his creepy, obsessive misogyny. Misogyny? MISOGYNY this here?
Yeah.
Misogyny? I don't know.
Misogyny?
Misogyny. Hey, that sounds good. But I genuinely wish he gets help that he needs so badly. Gender Critical is a feverish cult that does its proponents no good, referring to feminists who deny the same rights to transgender women. And LGB also praised his removal, calling him a bigot. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, J.K. Rowling is also another one of those people that are just going off the somehow, you know who J.K. Rowling is, right? She has made some really stupid things. One thing that she said was, trans people are who they say they are and deserve to live their lives without what? Wait a minute. She may have... Oh, that's not right. That's not what J.K. said. The author faced backlash, including from Harry Potter film star Emma Watson. Watson called out Rowling specifically, but hours after the essay went live, she wrote on Twitter, this is what Emma said against J.K. Trans people are who they say they are and deserve to live their lives without constantly being questioned or told who they aren't, who they say they are. Attempts to exclude transgender women from the feminist movement by claiming they aren't real women aren't a phenomenon, even as transgender women face severe and dangerous consequences of their existence. So, but yeah, J.K. Rowling was really adamant that transgender people are people with mental health issues and should seek counseling. Wow. And that they are not women. And oh man, just that she should just kept her mouth shut, because any future things that she writes, people are not going to be interested in if they remember this. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about Graham Linehan, but since they talked about J.K. Rowling, I don't think I didn't even give J.K. Rowling a second thought, because I think that people like that are just troublesome. Then we got Garth Brooks had a concert recently, and what an idea!
Why not? I mean,
I think it's great. I mean, I'm not a Garth Brooks fan, but I respect him, and the fact that he did this was a brilliant idea. People want to be entertained, and we're just so tired of being confined right now that what an idea. I mean, $100 a car. So that means you could put, let's say you put 4 people in your car, $25 a piece. That's actually pretty cheap.
Cheaper than a price of ticket.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a good deal. And an outdoor concert, it's gonna be loud enough to hear.
Well, they're doing like drive-in church services, so why not do a drive-in concert?
I want to see what this is. Listen to this article now.
Just a quick word from our...
No, I'm not going to listen to any sponsors. It says, on one hand, Garth Brooks Drive-In would be considered a positive step in the right direction for those who crave to return to normal. That's true. With normal, in this case, being a time and place for large numbers of people to come and enjoy the big-budget entertainment. On the other hand, if this is what the future of concert-going looks like, go ahead and count me out. Why? I actually think that's a good idea. Honestly, I don't know what I was expecting to get out of the experience of seeing Encore Live presents Garth Brooks, a drive-in concert experience. Oh, I see. It wasn't a live concert.
Oh.
A pre-recorded performance screened Saturday night at more than 300 outdoor theaters in the U.S. and Canada, billed as the 58-year-old country megastar's return to live performing. Well, that's not really live. I can understand the disappointment. If I was paying $25 or $100 a car to see a video of him, no thank you.
Well, it's the social distancing.
Yeah. But it says here, I saw it at Hounds Drive-In in Kings Mountain. It also played locally in Badin Road Drive-In in whatever. And it says the whole opening act was a head-scratcher. It says here, during this, it didn't work, okay. It didn't come anywhere near replicating the thrill of a live performance. Okay, I wouldn't pay for if you told me I could go see Van Halen at a drive-in, I want to see Van Halen. I don't want to see a video pre-recorded of Van Halen. I want to see Van Halen. So I understand that was a way for them to make a lot of money quick. So that's not as
Yeah,
good of a...
because the way they worded it, it sounded like
Yeah.
Garth Brooks was going to be
See, now
there.
that would be cool. I would even go possibly see that if he was there live. I'm not going to pay to see a video of him. That's ridiculous. Okay, then we got... This is the... Yeah, he's always going to be there. This is a reunion of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Okay.
And it says here... Well, these are girls. 34 years later, 34 years ago, Jennifer Grey was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That was the biggest movie of that time, too. So, you know, I definitely think that's pretty cool. Yes, I agree. Not one of my favorite movies, honestly. I really would have liked one of the other movies that were out then, too, but that was a pretty big movie. So I don't think Buddy liked that movie either. No, this is one we might want to talk about later.
Hi, puppy.
Okay. So anyway, it says here, more than 30 years after Ferris Bueller's Day Off hit the big screen, the cast of the iconic teenage comedy is set to reunite in Josh Gad's Quarantine Tube series, Reunited Apart. It says one day before the reunion, actress Jennifer Grey, who played Ferris' sister, Jeannie Bueller, in the classic film, shared a behind-the-scenes photos from the set on her Instagram. So, just kind of cool. I mean, to do a little YouTube series like that, I think it's kind of cool. And it says here, the throwback shots show Matthew Broderick as Ferris Bueller. I mean, that's probably his biggest role.
Right.
Everyone knew him as Ferris. Alan Ruck, which is Cameron Fry. Mia Sara, which is Sloane Peterson. I should say, yeah, she was Sloane Peterson. Richard Edson, the infamous garage attendant, as well as the late filmmaker John Hughes. It's kind of cool to see them as young kids again in this picture here, and it just, you know, kind of cool. But they're going to do that little series
Cool.
on...
Well, that's because, you know, Fuller House had such a good success, so they're going to try it with something else.
So see you a week from today for our final episode of Reunited Apart. Save Ferris is the Pound Save Ferris, and his YouTube is Josh Gad. And I think this is, let's see here.
Ferris Bueller.
That was such a stupid movie, but it was so hilarious.
Is too beautiful a thing to waste.
Wow, there's them older.
Wow.
That song went forever too. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. I think I will give that. Well, I gave the. Okay, that's good enough. Yeah, kind of cool. It was. He didn't finish that already, I think.
I think he did.
Swallowed it whole. That dog. Anyway, back to the. Let's see. Oh, go away. Go away. No.
Ooh. He just wants to be part of the show, too.
Yeah, he wants to disrupt the show. 20 years ago,
Okay.
something happened to Pearl Jam during a live concert.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if you probably are not aware of this, but they had a concert 20 years ago where 9 fans were killed.
Oh, my.
And this is the anniversary of that too. So they had, back then, there were mosh pits, and stupid people were mosh pitting, and hold on here, I just gotta finish this. Anyway, so there were lots of people that were in the mosh pit, and the loss of it says here, the band expressed their grief for the loss of victims who were aged 17 and 26. And it was a normal festival day show, and it says in 2000, 9 people died in a crowd rush at Roskilde Festival. It takes place 25 miles outside of Copenhagen when Pearl Jam's set turned into rock and roll hell, and it was a big tragedy. I remember this thing. It says here 8 men were killed in the mosh pit during the concert. Another 5 died afterwards in the hospital, and 43 other concert goers were left injured. So a mosh pit was a big thing back then,
Right.
and I don't know if it is now because I don't follow that kind of music. But yes, I agree. So I don't know. Just an anniversary.
Hey.
Yes, I know. I know you don't like them either. I don't like them. So I know you're not a big fan of them, right? You don't like them either. Pearl Jam is not our gig. We don't like Pearl Jam.
Amy says, hey, dying in the humidity down there.
That'll teach you to be down there. So, anyway. Shush. Another situation. Oh, should I do this? I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah, YouTube. Remember the YouTube TV? We were comparing their prices with Sling.
Right.
Well, YouTube just raised their price of their programming, so I think Sling is going to take a nice big jump in sales because the reason you go to YouTube TV is to save money. Well, now they're going to raise their. I think they raised it earlier. They were somewhere around $40, and they went to $50, something like that. Here it is. Google this week updated its wording, not mine. The price of YouTube TV from $50 to $65. The price increase over the top internet television service comes just a year after the last increase from $40 to $50. It says here the price tag has jumped 62.5%. It released 3 years ago, originally at $35 a month.
Wow.
So it went from $35 in 3 years ago to $65, almost doubling in 3 years. So they're going to lose a lot of cost on, or a lot of subscribers, because basically here, if you wanted to spend $65 a month on your cable, instead of YouTube TV, you could subscribe for Netflix from $9 to $16 a month. Disney is $7 a month. Hulu is $6 to $12 a month. Amazon Prime is $9 a month. HBO Max is $15 a month, and Apple TV for $5 a month. All of those you could get in place of YouTube TV. So if you were to want to explore things, I mean, Disney or the new HBO Max is supposedly got some good stuff, and I think TBS and TNN are on those as well. I'm not sure, but it's nice to know that they're out there. So, all right, next. So who do you think?
Okay, I'm not supposed to think, but okay.
Is the biggest Instagram highest paid celebrity? Think.
Well, I know it's not you.
Not this year. Who do you think?
I would say, is it somebody we've talked about tonight?
No.
Then I would say Donald Trump.
No.
Oh, okay.
Someone you like.
Oh, if I like him, okay.
Someone you like. He's probably in that boy toy list.
That list has got very long.
This one would be near the top.
Okay.
Someone you watch on television now, and you followed his career pretty much since the beginning.
Okay. Well, that's narrowed it down some.
It's a male.
Well, yeah, I would assume that. Oh. Especially if he's on the boy toy list.
He is, I'm sure. I don't know for sure, but I'm going to say.
Okay, then who is it?
No, you're supposed to say who it is. All right, I'll give you another hint. He was a wrestler.
Ooh. No.
What do you mean no? He was a wrestler. I wouldn't lie to you about that.
Okay. Roman Reigns?
Is he on your list?
Yes. Dark hairs, dark guys over 21?
Well, this guy doesn't have dark hair.
Oh, okay.
At this point, I don't think.
Okay.
I think that you would take this person over Roman Reigns any day of the week.
The Rock.
The Rock is the highest paid Instagram celebrity.
Yes.
Becomes Instagram's highest paid celebrity. Now, would you take if you had a choice of either one? Who would you take?
Hey, they're from the same family. It's okay.
No. I'm saying you had to take one over the other.
Yeah, I would take The Rock.
Yeah, I was surprised you didn't get that off when I said he's on TV. You watch him every week.
Well, I see a lot.
You watch Roman Reigns every. Oh shoot! I screwed up. Or did I? No, I didn't. Okay, good. Do you watch Roman Reigns every week? When
I'm up here watching TV with you.
You don't watch TV every week with me, so you can't use that. Sorry.
I tried.
Speaking of which,
seems like it though.
Another person is okay. How do I want to ask this?
Very carefully, I hope.
There's going to be a movie out about Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Who do you think would play Hulk Hogan? And it's someone you like.
Oh, another one of them trick questions.
Yes. He's not a wrestler.
Okay.
He's a big Hollywood guy, and he's pretty buff. And he's not The Rock. I wouldn't think that they would have The Rock playing Hulk Hogan.
No, they wouldn't. Okay. He's pretty buff.
You've seen a bunch of movies.
And he's kind of has to look like Hogan.
I'll give you a hint.
I don't like your hints.
Okay. I won't give you a hint then. You have to guess it on your own then.
Because there's so many that it could fall into that category.
Okay, I'll give you a hint that might help you. He is an Avenger.
You know I don't know my comics that well.
No, you saw the movies though.
Yeah. But who?
He's a god.
Chris Hemsworth?
Chris Hemsworth is the winner. Here you go.
Wow.
Oops, that's not it. That's a video. Oh, that's the program I use.
The Zatanna movie is in the works. We got a trailer for David Ayer's latest movie. Hugh Jackman shows off Wolverine wearing a mask, and Chris Hemsworth is finally prepping to lace up the boots of the Hulkster.
Wow.
What do you think of that?
That would be cool.
Because I'll tell you, I think it's. I guess that I would say that he would be a good person to choose because, you look at this, he could actually. But the thing is, he's British. And he's going to be doing, well, of course he does that anyway. Here's
to be directed by Todd Phillips, and it's about time.
Okay, you guys, listen up. People pay good money to see this movie.
Hemsworth says the physical transformation he's going to have to endure to turn into the Hulkster will be massive.
That is true, because he's going to have to really pack on the muscle for that. But he's probably the same height. He's just not the same girth. I mean, Hogan was girthy.
I'm sure padding will help too if he has to.
And if he gets rid of that belly he had in that one Avengers movie.
Yeah.
But
admitting that he will have to put on the most size he ever has, even more than Thor, which is insane to me considering that Hemsworth in Thor 1 already looks like Thunderlips.
Take a look. There's Thunderlips. Okay?
Wow.
Now, look at the size of his chest.
Yeah.
The width of his chest. I mean, he truly has a lot. I mean, you sit them side by side, and Hemsworth looks like he's suffering from not eating. But yeah.
All my love slaves out there, Thunderlips is here.
Now I gotta ask, who's gonna play young Sylvester Stallone?
Listen, why don't we just move around a little bit, like give him a good show. First I'll chase you and you chase me, okay? How's that?
All right?
Look at Stallone though. Stallone's built, right?
Right.
Look at the girth of
Oh, I
Hogan
know.
and Stallone. Stallone looks like a little boy next to him.
Okay.
I've been saying this for a long time, but there's money to be made if Hollywood ever gets the bright idea to make a series of connected wrestling.
Wouldn't it be funny if Hogan made a ton of money off this movie when he's not making a ton of money off wrestling anymore? That'd be hilarious, because you got to think that he's going to be paid for consulting or something.
Biopics and craft their own WWE movie universe.
And the other thing is, who else could actually they make a movie that people would go to see? Because Hogan's still probably the #1 recognized name when it comes to wrestling.
I would say that, yeah.
But The Rock is really close, and so is Stone Cold. But it's kind of interesting.
Call me, Vince. Also, while we're out here producing wrestler biopics, if anyone wants to make a movie about The Miz, I'm available.
Bullseye, smartass.
Over the weekend, we also got the new trailer for David.
That was the only thing I wanted off of that. I just kind of thought that it was interesting that Helmsworth is going to be Hogan. So I don't know who I would pick that would be better than him. I think that he's got a pretty good build already. How he's going to get that much mass on him, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how he does it. So, yeah, and like Amy said, it's partially genetic.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I like Mitch's question. We were talking about
What
Charlie
question?
Daniels.
Okay.
He says, is Jack Daniels Charlie's brother?
I don't know. He might be. I don't know. Okay, then we got, let's see here. Let's see, gotta look and see where we're at here. Okay, I don't care about that. This is interesting. Taylor Swift. Now, she has got to be politically correct on, I don't know how politically correct, but she seems to be pretty in touch with a lot of things. Taylor Swift blasts the U.S. Census for excluding transgender and non-binary people. That's, I never thought about that. We're all supposed to do our census.
Yeah.
And I never would have thought about that, but that's an interesting point. Because if we're going to be talking about these things and giving credence to transgender people, how are we going to count them? We're not counting them. You're either male or female. We need to make a possible adjustment to this. It says here, Taylor Swift, who was once condemned for political silence, is making up for lost time. The singer-songwriter spoke out Friday on Pride's live Stonewall Day live stream. And it says here, the event's an annual commemoration of the 1969 Stonewall uprising, which many cite as sparking the modern gay rights movement. So anyway, she said, we had a really good step forward recently with the Supreme Court ruling based on discrimination based on sex. But we still have far to go in terms of equality and protection for the LGBTQ people and people in the trans community. So, yeah, it really makes sense. If you're going to recognize the trans community, you have to recognize them on the census.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I'm trans, am I supposed to just say female? Well, that's not really accurate. So you should have another category for the trans community. I just kind of, I thought that was really an interesting thing, because I never would have thought of that. But that's something that we have to think about. So, big thumbs up for her, because she actually spoke out about it. Then we've got, let me get rid of her. Not that I'd get rid of her. I would love to have her for. Anyway, so a man got busted at Bass Pro Shops at the aquarium. Why do you think he got busted?
Because he was fishing when he wasn't supposed to.
You're close. Try again.
He was hunting when he wasn't
Close,
supposed to.
but well, you were closer with the fishing.
He was fishing in the store?
Man busted for swimming in the Bass Pro Shop aquarium.
Oh, geez.
Yes, he was swimming. These people.
I don't know.
This guy, look,
Oh my God.
Here he is, swimming in the aquarium.
Wow.
OMG.
There's
Oh,
all
Lord.
kinds of people.
Okay, he's getting out. Well, I thought he was drowning.
Yeah, we couldn't be so lucky. Just unbelievable. These people just... I mean, I'm sure he did it for a bet, and then he ran, but he got busted.
This is interesting.
Oh, what in the world's going on with this world? This world is going crazy. Really? I mean,
Well, I think it's all because of the coronavirus.
Maybe he felt like he was overhot.
No, it could be.
Overheated. And he wanted to go for a swim. Okay, why is this not? That's not Facebook. There we go. Don't know. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's crazy. I just don't know. Come stay with me.
I've had a long day today.
Well, I understand. There is a... Okay. How do I introduce this? I'll just say it. What animal can you see running down 422 right now?
Where's 422?
Well, it goes through Hershey and down by Philly. And
Deer.
How about another one? Give me another animal.
Geese.
How about another animal?
Fox.
How about another animal?
Groundhog.
How about an emu?
A who? Oh,
Emu.
an ostrich?
An emu.
Oh, yeah, well, okay.
Best thing I've seen in a while.
I could see that.
Well, there you can see it, right there. It's an emu.
Wow.
He doesn't turn on his signal or anything when he changes lanes, though. He should be arrested for that.
Yes, unsafe lane changes, I agree.
Plus, he's going slow in the fast lane. Just amazing. Look at all the backup people who don't want to hit him.
That kind of looks like what I saw yesterday.
Where'd you see an emu?
It wasn't an emu, though. It was that motorcyclist.
Oh. Oh, now he's trying to race the truck.
Reynolds.
Just amazing. And that's not the first emu, by the way. If you search emu, escaped emu or something like that on Facebook, there are videos of emus escaping down on 422. Just type in escape emu on 422. There is so many emus on 422. That's like the emu capital of the world.
Wow.
But 4th of July. He just went to see the fireworks. That's all he was for. Here he goes out of the woods. Actually, into the woods again. That guy opens his door. I don't know what he's opening his door for.
See if
hey, jump in. I'll take you to where you want to go. I'll take you down to the fireworks. Escape emu.
Wow.
Who would have thought?
Well, that's like when I left work yesterday. I come up. I usually go out Crystal A Drive and get on Sand Beach, and then go down to Hershey Park Drive. Well, yesterday I went out the back of the building and picked up Hershey Park Drive from the other end. And as I'm sitting there at the light, I look up and there's a kid on a motorcycle riding a wheelie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's doing this in the middle of the road with cars all around him. Traffic is like getting a little bit heavier. You know, it's 4:30. And about that time, all I did was see him fly backwards. But thankfully, he had his helmet on and all the other cars around him could get stopped. And I had my phone. I was ready to call 911. But by the time I looked up, you know, I looked at the light. It was green. I made the turn. He had the motorcycle back up on its wheels, and he was trying to get it started. And I thought, you idiot.
I'll tell you something. That's not foreign to me. When Ken and I were doing our album back in... Which one was it? Which album was it? It might have been in 91. There was down by the radio station, The Rose.
Uh-huh.
There was a guy that there's a side road there that is parallel to the highway, and he was doing his wheelie, and the guy flipped his bike, and Ken and I were like, should we stop and help him? And it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. We said, no. We just kept going. He got back up, but, you know, it was something that we're not willing to get involved in because we were very tired from being in the studio. So.
It's just crazy that, you know, that they're doing this in the middle of the street. You know, if you're going to do this on private property. Do it on your own ground. Or
idiots will be idiots. I mean, that's not anything that surprises me, but, you know. I don't have a niche to show, and I got to go to the bathroom. So can you do something?
Oh, well, I can talk about more road stories.
Okay, talk about road stories.
Oh.
I hate to do that, but I'm just not going to make it through the end of the show.
If I can get out of here without tripping.
You're going to have to go forward.
Yep. Oh, here comes Buddy.
Buddy dog. All right, let's see how we do this. This is the fun part of the show. We do acrobatics.
Yeah, if you're going to strangle me first. Ouch.
Move. You got your flip chip right there. You aren't eating. I'm going to grab it on the way back.
No, I remember the one road trip that we did. You know, we talked about when we were going to Long Island quite a bit. And, you know, the first time we went, it was, we got onto the Long Island Expressway. And we had joked that, you know, it was long and it was an island, but it sure wasn't an expressway. And we didn't know any better. So we just kind of went with the traffic, and we both had to go. So we just hit the porta potties along the road that they had there. And then that's when they told us after we got there, hey, go around. You know, it made it a lot easier. But it's really interesting, you know. He's been on the air 17 years. I've been with him for most of it. And it's just, it's different. I mean, I never expected to be part of this. You know, I just kind of like to come up and, you know, listen to his interviews and things like this. And he's like, look, if you're going to make comments, he says, I'm going to put a microphone on you. So he kind of did. And, you know, except for a while, you know, there was a period of time, I think like 4 or 5 years or something, that I wasn't around. And, you know, I just took off some time recently because I, you know, had some things I had to take care of. But, you know, I'm usually here. If I'm not in the studio, then I'm online, which, you know, with social distancing, that would be something I'd like to try if he would ever do it. I don't know if it would be possible. You see a lot of Zoom meetings happening, and I don't know how we'd turn this into that, but, you know, it might be an idea. Hi, buddy. How are you back?
Which story did you tell?
The first time we went to Long Island.
With the bathrooms?
Yes. And how long that was. Oh, that was a rough trip. But, yeah, and then about, you know, how long we've been here, and it's just amazing that it's 17 years. Oh, now we get to do this dance again.
Alright, let me be behind you this time.
Okay.
There you go. Now you move over.
Hey, we did better that time.
That's because it was organized. Alright.
Okay.
Okay, everybody, wake up.
Gee, thanks.
Alright, let's see. Now I can go for the rest. I need to put that urinal in. That's all I got to do.
Yeah.
I saw this this on. Well, now it's gone. Well, that's not going to work. I saw a story here, and now I don't remember what it was. When I pulled it out with the story, and then once I touched it, it updated. So now,
see?
No, it doesn't matter because I don't remember what it was. Okay. Next. I should have just told you, just read the next story.
Well, I can't read that far away.
Okay. Well, here's the one you gave me. Couples should wear face masks during sex. Now, I've thought that for longer than the COVID thing, when I was with certain women, that they should wear face masks.
I'm not even going to ask.
So that's just kind of weird. But thinking about face masks for when you're having sex, I don't have to worry about that because I'm not having sex. But it says here, safe sex during the coronavirus pandemic might soon require protection beyond the nether regions. A new study from researchers at Harvard says that hooking up carries some risk for transmitting COVID from one partner to the other, and recommends, among other practices, wearing a face mask while doing it.
Wow.
Now, if you have a doctor fetish, that would be cool. But other than that, I'm not really interested in doing that. That would be kind of really sucky. But, you know, this is different times we live in. Smashed outdoor diners steal... smashed outdoor diners steal wine glasses. So as New York starts to move to their next level, they have had problems already with their outside dining. Now they're at the outdoor stage. They're not in indoor stage yet. But yeah, it'd be crazy to have to deal with being in New York City and dealing with this coronavirus. It says here, when cities phase 2 reopening brought outdoor dining to the Big Apple, more than 3,000 restaurants were approved for alfresco dining service and responded in creative ways. They built decks, creative outdoor gardens, and tweaked their menus. But they've also had to deal with the rowdy and disobedient patrons that have been service-starved since March. It says here at Pentaluma on the Upper East Side, Director of Operations Victor Young said enforcing social distancing rules have become challenging for staff, especially since the neighborhood watering holes have attracted hordes of revelers drinking on the street. On a nice weekend, the Upper East Side has become like Mardi Gras, with people going bar to bar. By the time some of them sit down for meals, they're pretty smashed and don't social distance. You know, we ate out this weekend. We went to Bonefish Grill.
Yes.
Shannon's birthday. Happy birthday, Shannon. Today is the actual day.
Yes.
And, of course, it was nice of her to have her birthday on my show day. But we ate at Bonefish Grill and had a really, really good dinner. And we were outside because they're still seating outdoors for this place. And it was a really good...
And it was a place that I had never been to, but you were there.
Right. And I talked you guys into it because I liked Bonefish Grill. And it just was a lot easier to go there and then have to deal with what we would have had to deal with to go to the other place. So, plus we didn't know what we would run into there because last time I drove by that place, they weren't servicing anybody.
Well, I think we drove by it this time, too, after we left Bonefish Grill, and it looked like, you know, it didn't have cars or anything in the parking lot.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, but, you know, it's getting there. It's getting to the point where they're going to have to make a decision whether they're going to continue with the business. But anyway, but still, I mean, New York would be a real pain to have to deal with, you know, outdoor seating when there's no... I mean, there are small places to begin with, and there's no place to put outdoor seating in New York.
That's true.
So,
I mean, we saw what limited seating there was for there.
Right.
I mean...
Yep, it was...
I will say, that was fun, though.
Yeah, and they had good food, and there's something for everybody, so...
Oh, yeah, because, you know, you looked at it and made sure, because you know I don't eat seafood.
Right.
But I looked at it, and, yeah, there was a steak there. I was happy.
That's exactly right. Let me see here. I want to make sure I...
See, now that's 2 new things within the past couple of weeks that I've tried, thanks to you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, River Rocks.
Oh, yeah, River Rocks are awesome.
Yeah, and now that... And, so what's new next week?
I don't know. It's hard to say. 2 dead, 8 injured in Greenville, South Carolina, a nightclub shooting.
Oh.
It's good to see some things are now getting back to normal. People are now shooting people in bars again. I am looking forward to more of that versus the...
and it's not Florida.
Yeah, well, fortunately, it's...
But
yeah.
I know people who live in Greenville, South Carolina.
Well,
but they don't go to bars.
2 were killed and 8 others were injured in a nightclub shooting in Greenville, South Carolina during a musical performance early Sunday. Deputies who have been patrolling the area rushed to Club Lavish after hearing shots and began evacuating people. Authorities have suspect information but did not identify a person of interest. Let's see here. The sheriff said 2 deputies were leaving a call when they saw a crowd run from a venue at 1:50 a.m. What are people doing out at 1:50 a.m.? Doggone it! I remember times when I remember when I was out that late at times.
Coming home from wrestling shows.
I remember playing in bars. We weren't even done till 2.
Wow.
So,
I was gonna say that was usually us on wrestling show weekends.
yeah. Well, that's true. Sometimes we didn't get home till 4, 6, 6 in the morning, something like that. Depends where we were coming from. Anyway. Yeah, it's good to see people getting back to normal, shooting, killing others, you know. What in the world? Sometimes I wonder how long we're going to be in this situation.
From what I'm hearing, it's going to be a while. This is going to be our new normal.
Unfortunately. Yes, unfortunately.
Because you have people who aren't, like, they'll say, oh, I can't wear this, they can't. Okay, I get claustrophobic too, but you got to do what you got to do, and even if it's like slipping into the bathroom and taking it off for a couple minutes and then coming back out, or in my case, you have your own personal dressing room.
That's true.
Which I finally figured out how to fold up.
But it's funny that you say that, and it's. A friend of ours was saying to me last night, I bet you're going to be glad when AMC opens again because you can go see movies again. I said, I don't know that I'm going to go because I just don't feel that it's safe to be out there. It only takes one idiot to blow it for everybody.
Yeah.
And we've seen that time and time again. And, nobody seems to want to play by the rule. Well, not nobody. There's that idiot that doesn't want to play by the rules at any cost because they don't feel comfortable or they don't believe that it's real or whatever the reason is. They don't. But you realize this happened back in the early 1900s, and they went 3 years when they had to deal with this, where masks and stuff were being worn. So this isn't like the first time this has happened. It's the first time in our lifetime it's happened. But back then, people actually followed the rules. So now the next story happened in Mechanicsburg area, but it's also happening all over. I also have an article where it happened in I think it's that one's in Memphis. So this one here, I talk about scams from time to time, and this one is Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. It says reporting 2 scams recently surfaced in the borough. Wow. The first scam, they receive a phone call from someone posing as a family member who has claimed to have been arrested in another country and need money to be sent for their release. Police said the resident did not believe the story and hung up. Well, geez, I wonder why. The other one says police advised residents who receive such calls to try to get a phone number to return the call. They should check with family members to see if the person is even out of the country. In most cases, police say people will know ahead of time if a close family is going abroad. Especially now, there's nobody going abroad now.
No, definitely not.
The second one, this is a one I've talked about before. Second incident, a caller claiming to be from Amazon called a resident to tell the person that he or she has been charged too much for a transaction. Or they'll say that they were charged and it's a suspicious order and that you have to worry about whether or not you put the order in.
Well, I've gotten some text messages. Actually, I just got one today that said something I had ordered had been returned, couldn't be delivered because there was not enough information for the address. And I'm like, and it gives me this link to do it. I'm like, no.
Right. Well, that's the thing. They scam you. But in the second incident, the caller said they would refund the difference in the overcharge. Usually what they do is they say someone's been, there's been some fraudulent stuff on your account. Anyway, police said the caller was asked to fill out a form that she was emailed to the victim. And that was emailed to the victim. They asked for bank account information, which they provided. The resident was asked to purchase gift cards. That's a red flag there.
Yep.
Gift cards, and supply the information on the gift cards to the caller, which the resident did. The resident later discovered a large amount of money had been withdrawn from his or her bank account. First off, they'll never, ever... What are you laughing at?
There's a message on here for you. Hey, Mike, I'm your brother, and I got arrested in Nigeria. Can you send me 2.5 million euros so I can make bail?
Sure. I just got an email from a sheik saying that they are dying and they want to give all the money to me because I'm their long-lost brother
Ruler.
or something. So as soon as I get that money, I'll be glad to send it over. So you may already be a winner. Anyway, that's the one in Mechanicsburg. Then there was one, and it's happening all over. By the way, I follow these scams, so don't think that these don't happen. They are really out there, and these scam artists they're now trying to be, they're pretending they're the government. Check this out. They're leaving voice mails that the government is now calling you about your tickets that you got, that you didn't know that you got. This one, I think this is this one. I want to make sure this is the one. As soon as the... All right, this is
it's scary because it's becoming where we can't trust anything that's
No,
said.
you can't. You can't trust anything. Absolutely. You cannot trust anything that is... anyone that asks you to see your account, hooks up to your computer, whatever it is. Okay, here we go.
Target for scammers. More than half of the people targeted by employment scams
This is the
are
employment scam now.
unemployed. That's according to a new report itself. It's by the Better Business Bureau. Nearly 3/4 of those who lost money said they already did not have enough income just to cover their monthly bills.
But everyone needs to be on alert. Tonight, Fox 13 Investigates is tracking a new scam you need to
This
be
is
aware
unbelievable.
of. In fact, just this week, scammers tried to target Fox 13 chief meteorologist Joey Selipek and his family.
The following is a recorded message from the Shelby County Sheriff's Office pertaining to Lisa Selipek.
He turned that voicemail he received over to our investigator, Leah Jordan. Leah, the scam looks real at first. Even Joey said that.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
gotta talk.
Joey is
That's
usually
it.
on high alert. I mean, he always is. But this is one of those things, guys. Scammers are getting so detailed that they'll actually say your name down.
What they do now is now they actually buy lists of names with the phone number so that they can do that. They may have been trying to scam this person before and got their name and stuff and sold it to somebody else. Even if they didn't get scammed before, they already got their name and number. Now they sell it to another scammer who ends up calling and pretending to be, in this case, they're pretending to be the governor. Now get this. This is a really interesting scam.
It's one thing to get a call from a scammer pretending to be your local government.
The following is a recorded message from the Shelby County Sheriff's Office.
It's another when the person
government.
leaving a message says they're specifically looking to speak to you.
Pertaining to Lisa Selipek.
Imposters are getting creative. They're using real names, and they make it sound like they've gone out of their way to find you specifically. They'll tell you there's an issue that demands your attention. They provide a number and then a website.
You may schedule an appointment by contacting the department at the number that I have already stated, or by visiting www.shelbycivilservices.org.
Now, I will tell you one thing that this one is different from the ones I listen to a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The ones I listen to a lot, they are obviously foreigners. They have not a very good English speaking voice. But this one actually sounds like he could be from the police office.
But go to that website, and as real as it looks at first, you'll start seeing some red flags. First, local government sites are .gov, not .org. Less
a good
than a
one,
month
yeah.
ago, the Shelby County Sheriff's Office warned about a jury scam that directed people to a spoofed SCSO website where they were asked to pay a fee to clear up a warrant.
Yeah.
The Sheriff's Office
That's the other one
spokesman
that-
says they'll never ask past or prospective jurors for financial information, and they'll never ask anyone to pay a fee to have a warrant removed for missing jury duty. The website they warned about last month was removed, but this new one is awfully similar, and it's an awfully
Civilservice.com.
similar scam, too.
It's really bad, though,
Now,
because
a sheriff's office spokesperson tells me if this happens to you, you should contact your local law enforcement and make.
now this is kind of funny too, because the Amazon scams, they have their own Amazon page that they made, but it's so bad. It doesn't look like Amazon at all. They put some like Amazon movies you can rent on the page, so it looks legit, but it's not. It's so badly done. And then half the times the form is just a generic, just really bad form. Some of them say that they are Amazon, or they'll say they're Microsoft, and it's the same place. And sometimes they get them mixed up when they're doing their script. These people have scripts that they follow when they they got to. If you throw them off their script, they won't know what to do. They get kind of confused because they're like trying to do the script, but they're don't rush my script. Now the guy that I watch is actually reading the script to them back, and they're jumping ahead and screwing them up because they don't know how to react because they're getting these script things and they're way off base.
Well, the other thing too, and I just checked with mine, like you can register on the do not call list.
Right.
And I was pretty sure that I registered, but I still get those robocalls.
Okay.
So I went on to the do not call list, and it says you can check to see if you're registered, if you're not sure. And that's what I did. I put my phone number in, I put my email in, and then in a few minutes it gave me an email saying, yes, you successfully registered on, and it gave me the date I registered, which I registered back in 2006. So now it's like if I get them and I can, get the number, because a lot of times it comes up as an unblocked or a private number, then I can report them.
Mm.
But I had one today that I forget what it was, and I don't know. I just picked it up and answered it, and as soon as they started with their spiel, I hung up. I was like, yeah, I don't need this.
Here's another one that was local, Carlisle area.
Oh.
That's the Mechanicsburg. Where's the Carlisle one? There's a Carlisle one here. Where's that? Okay, it says here. No, that's not it. Carlisle residents. This is good. Carlisle police are warning residents to be on the alert after numerous people received calls from people claiming to be the Carlisle Police Department officers. Now, what would they call you for? Well, the police said the calls attempt to collect money for a number of reasons, including court fees and overdue fines.
Oh, geez.
No, wait, they don't actually call. I mean, the police don't actually call.
Right.
But this is a scam. The scam artists are calling saying that you owe us court fees or you owe us overdue fines, and here's how you pay for it. And a lot of times they ask you for gift cards. Now, the police department is never going to ask you for gift cards. The police department is never going to call you up and say you owe us money. If they think you owe us money, they're going to go get you and they're going to bring you down to the place. They're not going to pretend that that you have to get them gift cards, and they're not going to play games with you like that. They're pretty much going to take you to the place to get. Because I remember. Back when I was a kid, I got in trouble. Me and Rich Butler were out with two girls, and I was...
Well, that was your problem right there.
I was 20, just about to turn 21, and we were driving around in my van, and the girls were underage, and Rich got beer. I didn't drink at the time. Well, I don't drink now, but I didn't drink, unless I'm in a video. I don't drink. And we were running what was called the circuit. We would drive. There was just an area, and everybody drove this loop. And we got pulled over, and there was beer, and we got fined. We all got fined, but then they let the girls go, and didn't fine them, and they fined me and Rich. I paid my fine. I borrowed money from my grandfather. That's why I know I paid my fine. See here, about 2 years later, I got pulled over for a light out in my van, and they said, there's a warrant for your arrest.
Oh, jeez.
For the same thing. And I said, well, wait a minute, I paid that. Do you have your receipt? Where am I going to have my receipt? In the glove compartment? Come on, this is 2 years ago. I would have never thought of that. So they took me downtown. I didn't get arrested. I finally had them do their due diligence, and that fine was paid for. So they had to let me go, but still. Just the things you have to go through.
You're a troublemaker.
I am. So anyway, like I said, they won't. I paid for it in gift cards. Back then, we probably didn't have gift cards. Back then. So anyway, the thing I'm trying to say is you get a call from the quote unquote police department asking you for money for your fines. That's not going to happen. And so just be careful. There's a lot of crazy people out there. There are scams that are just lots of scams that are. I'd like to get that scam baiter guy on. I'd love to get him to interview. He's a really smart guy, and he has grown his listenership so big. I mean, he's got over 2 million followers on Facebook alone, 700,000 on Twitch. It's just really interesting to watch. If you want to see one, go to Facebook and type in Kitboga, Kitboga, and check out his videos. They are very informative on the scams that are going on right now. So anyway, next. This is really, really sad. This happened today, or this happened within a couple days. Oklahoma woman was shot repeatedly after tearing down a Nazi flag flying outside a man's house.
Wow.
So he didn't shoot her just once. He shot her multiple times. An Oklahoma woman was seriously injured, and a man faces possible life in prison after authorities allege he shot a woman who had decided to swipe one of the Nazi flags flying outside the man's home. Alexander John Feaster, 45, of Hunter, is charged with felony assault with a deadly weapon and shooting with the intent to kill, according to the Oklahoma court records. He was booked June 28th. According to the affidavit, Feaster has set up a chair right inside the front door of his home as he lie in wait. It appeared Mr. Feaster was anticipating an incident to take place and had been watching that spot. So he put these flags up just to be controversial. And then when somebody came in and tried to steal one of his flags, he shot him. You know, the thing is, people like that, they deserve to go to jail, because if you're flying a Nazi flag, you got something wrong with you automatically.
Yep.
And you're looking for trouble. I mean, why would you? I mean, it's bad enough with the Confederate flag, but the Nazi flag, you're really looking for trouble. So, yeah, it's kind of weird to think about it. It says here in this post by Vic Bendick, the right has recently been called the left fascist due to the forced removal of slavery-related historical statues. Enter Alexander Feaster, hater of snowflakes, who shot a woman trying to remove a Nazi flag waving in our freedom-loving wind. Who's the fascist? You are. It's pretty simple. You're trying to bait people into this stuff because you have nothing better to do. This guy here says, according to the Anti-Defamation League, the saying, which translates roughly to "My honor is loyalty," was the motto of Waffen-SS, the military wing of the Schutzstaffel in Nazi Germany. Since World War II, neo-Nazis and white supremacists around the world use this German phrase, or its equivalent in English or other languages, a hate slogan. It says the records show that deputies were called to Feaster's home around 3 a.m. June 28th, a report of shots fired. On the way, the deputies received word that a woman had been shot. They were also told weapons were drawn and aimed at the home of the 200 block of East Cherokee Street. Woodson, the first deputy to the scene, arrived to find a man with a pistol resting on the hood of a pickup and aimed at the Feaster's house. The deputy could also see a man identified as Feaster walking around inside the home. Inside, in a ditch in front of the house, several people were providing first aid to the woman who had been shot. Kendall McVeigh, 26, of Enid, had gunshot wounds to her abdomen and her legs. So, she was cute, too. She actually looks like Jen.
Yeah.
Except that Jen doesn't have any bullet shots to the abdomen or legs, so that we know of. According to the network, it says here, the affidavit said investigators believe Feaster shot McVeigh with a Colt AR-15. It appeared that by a number of shell casings found in the weapon, that the weapon had been fired at least 6 times. Woodson, who was armed with his own rifle, ordered the man with the pistol to put the gun down, which he did, laying it on the pavement in front of the truck. The deputy ordered the man inside to come out with his hands up, which he did. The man complied. Another responding deputy handcuffed the man, who was identified as Feaster by his Oklahoma driver's license. And it says here, deputies searched the house for additional suspects. They found multiple firearms and military-style gear inside. Witnesses told investigators that McVeigh was with friends at a party nearby. She decided to go and grab one of Feaster's swastika flags. Photos were taken by News and Eagle staff. That's News and Eagle staff together, Neagle. Showed the large swastika flag up a pole at the corner of Feaster's house. A smaller Nazi flag sits in a flag holder in front of the home to the left of the front door. It is not clear if either of those flags was one that McVeigh tried to take. No trespassing signs were tacked to a tree in the yard, according to the video shot at the property. Security footage from several cameras outside Feaster's home show what happened next. A white female, identified as Kendall, runs up to the residence and pulls the flag down to the west side of the porch. Kendall took the flag and ran back towards the residence. I observed the white man, identified as Alexander Fiegel, exit the front door to his residence with a large AR platform gun. Now, you know what's going to happen here, right?
What's that?
Well, okay, so when can I use my gun?
When you're defending your home.
When you're defending yourself.
Okay.
Self-defense. Okay? If the girl grabs the flag and runs, can you shoot her?
No.
That's right. You can't. So this guy, hopefully, will be put away, because if someone's stealing something, you don't have the right to shoot them. Because we talked about this a long time ago when somebody said his car was stolen and the guy shot the guy that was stealing his car.
Okay.
And he got in trouble for shooting the guy and killing the guy that stole his car. So if this woman got shot for stealing a flag, she was not threatening him. He could have attacked her, like ran up and physically took it from her.
Right.
But you can't shoot someone just because they stole something. But you can shoot someone if you're fearing for your life. And if she was in the house, he could shoot her for coming in the house. So hopefully he's going to be put away for a long time, because this stuff is just brutal. I can't even fathom what goes on in these people's heads. So, guess what time it is?
Wow, already?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Yes, it is. I think it's time to go.
Unbelievable. That went fast.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like... We did the whole show, too.
Yeah.
From 8 o'clock. Or 7 o'clock. From 7 o'clock. We did the whole show. Awesome. Anyway, all right. I guess it's time to go then.